Okay, it says I'm live. I think hello everyone. Can if type something in the chat please if you could finally hear me because I've been going what? Oh, great. Okay, all right, I'm live now. Sorry about that, everyone. I set up for this like half an hour ago, but YouTube didn't make it obvious how you're actually supposed to start the stream because I've like got OBS happening over here. I've got like a stream watcher down here on my other computer, and it's been a wild last 10 minutes. But your man out of Japan, Jay Contra here. Thank you everyone for coming to the 6,000 subscriber spectacular. Thank you if you are a subscriber to the channel already, and if not, I encourage you to subscribe. Today we are going to we're going to be going through. I've got 3 videos that I want to take us through. The first that I hopefully should already be up on your screen, excuse me, is we're going to be visiting it's not a retro game retailer, but it is sort of like a used like gadgets, movies, games, all kinds of things. It's called Kex if you're not familiar with it, but it's apparently big in the UK. I've been to a couple now. Next, we'll be going back in time 3 years to 2017, the before times. We'll be visiting Osaka and looking at what game shopping was like there, and then we will be going to the now times of 2020 to a visit to a hard off in Kanagawa. Looking in the stream, welcome everyone. Hello, Andy Hamburgo. Danny1F, thank you very much. This hoodie is actually very special to me because this was when I got this at Tokyo Game Show in 2015, 2016, and somehow it survived. Like, I'm actually amazed. Hold on, maybe I can actually show you what's on the back of this. Can you see this? Yeah, it's really cool, and I'm amazed that I actually try not to wear it too often. Because that way I don't have to wash it so often. Because this is like it's already, you can kind of tell it's fading, but it's really great, and I'm glad it survived all these years. Let's see, Ian Hobbies. Well, thank you for tuning in from Spain. We've got Clemens Schwartz. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that. Greetings from Austria. Hello, greetings from the United Kingdom. Let's see, Tech Muse. Hello, Tech Muse. We've got Deku got next, also from the UK. Yeah, so we'll be going into Kex. Hold on, let me make sure. I just want to make sure you can see my face. It's a very weird lighting situation just because of the time of day here, and I don't want it to wash out on my webcam. Yes, okay. I think that's everyone who said hello. Thomas Matthew Byrne. I hope you can see me now. Cutie for you 117. Hi, welcome to the stream. And then we've got Danny1F. Hello everyone. Yeah, you know, Andy was saying he missed 2018 Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Game Show I think it was always in September. And it's worth going to once. I think the days of Tokyo Game Show being super amazing are kind of over, just because it's sort of like what happened to E3, where it's all like just like it's mobile games. It's a lot of like frankly empty space in this giant convention center. Whereas, you know, like 20 years ago, that's where you would have gone to see like Metal Gear premiere. You would have seen all the cool new Sony and Microsoft stuff, not necessarily the Nintendo stuff because they had Space World back in the day. I think if you can, obviously it's not happening this year. Who even knows if it's going to happen next year with the Olympics being delayed? But Tokyo Game Show, it was really fun to go at least once, and the cosplay was absolutely to die for. It was fantastic. Andy Dixon, hello, welcome to the stream. So I think I've yapped enough. So why don't I'll get into what I'm playing maybe in the break between this and the next video. But we're going to dive right in here. And we're going to look at what it's like at a UK like used goods shops. I don't really... it's sort of like the British equivalent to Book Off. And if you're familiar with neither Kex nor Book Off, for I guess the people living in America and not Japan or the UK, Kex slash book off are they have all this, they're exclusively used stuff. Sometimes they might have a new thing here or there, but really they just focused on used, like used movies, used media, used games, used consoles, sometimes some used electronics like computers or televisions. Retro moments, my man. Wait, wow, that's wow. I'm glad to see you here. Always can count on you in the comments. Retro moments, how you doing? So there's a lot of stuff, and there's actually they've got a pretty extensive DS and 3DS, which I would consider retro at this point. I would consider the DS definitely retro at this point, considering that it's 16 years old, though it's old enough to drive. But today, what we're just going to focus on are the are just the really old stuff, which is not, it's not an extensive selection. Don't go in there expecting like book off levels of like Super Nintendo games, but it's got some good stuff. The price will be interesting. We'll talk about it. Actually, let me double check what the dollar is. Let's see. It's all going to be in pounds. So it's right now it is £1 is $1.28. So I'll just round that off to be like 33% more to get the dollar averages here. So let's begin. All right, hold on. Let me make sure that I've got this and make sure that I'm not giving off the sound here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I've turned off the sound there. All right, so here you can see already the panoply of 3DS, Vitas, PS3. They've got a lot of stuff. It's like, and then they've got a pretty modest selection. Like for what, like you wouldn't have expected to see this like maybe 10 years ago. You wouldn't have expected to walk into like a GameStop 10 years ago and to have seen like even just anything retro there. But this is the times that we live in now. So we've got, on the left, we've got World Cup 98. Licensed by Nintendo. Who would have made that? I remember Konami made back in the late 90s. They made a lot of soccer and... hold on, let's make sure I get the glare off. But look at, oh my God, look at that copy. Let me go back a little bit. Look at that copy of of Lilat Wars, what we might know as Star Fox 64. That is a real beat up copy. That would be in the junk section of a hard off. That is going for £6, so that's like what, $8? Let's just say $8. That's also inclusive of tax. As far as I'm aware, all British prices include the price of tax, like VAT, which is like, what, 20%? It's like crazy. Let's see, Thomas is saying, I've seen photocopied DS cover inserts in Kex a few times. Yeah, like that's crazy. Like you would never, ever see that at a Japanese game shop. You would never see, like that's common in America at GameStop, is to see those photocopied, and it's not even a good photocopy. It is just black and white cover that they insert into like the GameCube covers of the PS2. It is like abominable, but they're trying. They just want to move the product. This isn't like, okay. Let's just talk about our standards here. We've got the Japanese standard, which is this would be junk. But I would say in the UK and the US, this would be considered in fine condition, probably. Yeah, and George chiming in. Thank you very much, George. The British VAT, the British sales tax, is 20%. In Japan, it's 10%. And I think maybe even next year it's going to go up to 12%. So we've got that going for $8. We've got F1 World Grand Prix going for, let's call that about $2.50. And then F1 Racing Championship unboxed, it's going for, let's just call it $13. That's crazy. Like that's, I mean, in Japan, that's a pretty common game. Like that would just be a few dollars. So Clemens is saying Austria is also 20%. Like that's, like in America, sales tax, if you're in a big city, it can be anywhere from 10 to 12%, but they're entire states. I used to live in Delaware for a couple years. That had a sales tax. That did not have sales tax at all. And I think Montana doesn't have sales tax either. I think somehow they made it up for in terms of like property tax or something. Now let's look at the big hitters here. We've got a lot of things, and I hope I zoom in. I hope I zoom in on some of these, because look at that copy of Blue down there. Now I think the thing we have to note about the PAL versions over there on the left of the N64 games is that those are actually going to be qualitatively distinct from the NTSC, the North American and the Japanese copies, because the PAL copies are going to be running at 50 frames a second. But they'll also be, I think their resolution is larger, because that was the standard back in the day with the big box TVs. Was in America they had lower resolution but higher frame rates, and Japan and America had the same television standard, whereas Europe and Australia had different standards. But when you look at these Game Boy Color and regular Game Boy games, those I believe are universal. So those will work across all of the Game Boys that were put out in that region. Now let's see. Now Andy Dixon is saying that the yellow looks fake. It's possible. It could just be the colors. It could be the color of the light. You're right, the color of the cartridge does look different, but considering how beat up it looks, I mean, I doubt it's a fake, and I don't see why anyone would have faked it. Would have faked what is still an $18 a $25 game. Let's see. And just look at the quality, or look at the condition. I shouldn't say quality. I should say condition of the Pokemon Blue and the Pokemon Yellow. That yellow, that is trash. Like, at least from a Japanese perspective, that would be in the junk section, no question, and it would be like $1. Now, I also wonder, and maybe George can chime in on this, but I wonder what their policy is going to be on the save battery. Because especially with like Pokemon, like with the first gen Pokemon games, those batteries are going to be dead 99% of the time if they haven't been replaced. So that's another cost that you might have to factor in. Whereas you can and this actually seems maybe a bit cheap to me, 18 pounds. That's like what, $23, $22. But you might also have to factor in the $10 you might be spending to replace the battery. Like that's another something that you might have to consider in terms of the price. On the top left, we've got a Game Boy Advance SP, and looking at the glare on the screen, it looks like it's in okay. The screen itself looks like it's in okay condition, and that's really what you want to pay attention to. Let's see. George is saying, I don't know about the batteries. I guess they don't check and don't care. I mean, maybe they just try and turn it on to make sure it works. I doubt I wonder if they actually take the time to even check and make sure you can actually save, because to save in Pokemon, that actually takes a while, as far as I can remember, because I think you have to actually get a Pokemon before you can save. I can't remember. We've also got Tarzan. Let's see. Oh, good. We're getting real close. Look at that. That is I can't believe they're putting that in the showcase. What else do we have? So we've got a bunch of PS1 games. We've got Exhumed is going for $15. We've got Final Fantasy Origins going for $35. That's probably a good price. Think about the value of that. You're getting two games there. You're getting I'm hoping I'm saying this correctly, but I want to say it's Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2. And Final Fantasy 2 at the time when this came out, which is 97 or so, late 90s, that was a big deal because Final Fantasy 2... had it come out? No, yeah, actually it had. No. Someone in the chat, please remind me if Final Fantasy 2 actually came out. No, because Final Fantasy 1 came out for the NES, and then Super NES Final Fantasy 2 was actually Final Fantasy 4 in Japan. They completely skipped Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3 for the NES and just went straight to 4. And also, so this was a big deal to have Origins come out. This was in the period when they'd finally released Final Fantasy 5 that had never come out in English. In Final Fantasy 2, it was a really weird game, because I've not played it myself, but I've heard people talk about it, and the way you leveled up was you didn't level up by gaining experience. You leveled up by actually doing things in the game itself. And so one of the weird leveling up strategies that people actually came up with was you actually had to you actually attacked your own party members to increase their defense. Oh, thank you. George to the rescue. We got a copy of Final Fantasy Origins right here. This is not from the shop. George just already owned this. Hey, Otaku Retro Nerd, greetings from Los Angeles, greetings from the United Kingdom. We're looking at Final Fantasy Origins. This would be worth... George actually kept her game in really good condition. And then I should also note that much like if you're watching from the United States or from Japan, this will actually not work on your systems, not only because of regional lockouts, but because the PlayStation, I think basically up until the HD era, so PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo, those are all the PAL 50 hertz versus your NTSC 60 hertz. So your PAL systems usually won't work on a TV from another region, although I recently plugged in my PC Engine Duo, my Duo R, into an HD TV here in the UK, and it's a Japanese system, but it works on a UK HD TV. But if you're plugging it into the old box TVs, they may not work. So keep that also in mind if you're looking at some of these prices. Let's see. Nawan is asking, where do you normally get retro games in the UK? I think Kex is one of the bigger retailers. I know there are some retro specialty shops around. I haven't been able to visit any of them, unfortunately. But yeah, pawn shops, I'd say eBay is probably the biggest place where you'd find that here. Other games here, we've got Exhumed, I'm not familiar with. Tomb Raider. I can't believe Tomb Raider's still so cheap. You would think that as the original Tomb Raider, you'd think it would, people would want that version, but I guess not. We've got Last Revelation going for about $7. Gran Turismo 2. Gran Turismo 2 is not even just Gran Turismo 2, but just the Gran Turismo series in general, I think is a bit underrated in terms of how successful it was. Like, Gran Turismo absolutely made pretty much every generation of PlayStation. I think even up until PlayStation 4. Have I played Gran Turismo for the PlayStation 4? No. I love the PS3 Gran Turismo. I played that a lot back when I was in college. And it's like the sales numbers on it are absolutely incredible. I think the only problem is that other racing games have come to challenge it, but I don't think anything really even comes close on a personal level. Bunch of Tomb Raider games here. That's really, I mean, was Tomb Raider actually developed in the UK, or was that developed in America? I know Lara Croft is supposed to be British herself, but I don't know if the developers were actually British or not. Here we go. Oh, okay, here we go. Some meaty stuff here. We've got the Mega Drive. Excuse me. We've got the Mega Drive version of Lion King going for $8. We've also got Codemasters for $12. Strider, sorry, $13. Strider. I've heard good things about Strider, but I've not played it myself. We've got Sonic 2. I can't believe Sonic 2. All right, so just to give you some perspective, especially when hopefully we run into some Mega Drive stuff when we go to the Japanese videos here. But the Mega Drive in Japan did awfully when you compare it to how the Mega Drive did in the United States and especially Europe. Like in Europe, as far as I'm aware, the Mega Drive absolutely dominated. Whereas in America, it was sort of like 55% Super Famicom, 45% Mega Drive. And so in the UK, like I'm absolutely surprised to see how cheap some of these games are comparatively to their Japanese version. Because like Sonic 2, especially in Akihabara, that's like a $30 game. Whereas here, it's like $7. And then we've also got Alien Storm, complete in box, going for $17. Just reading the chat here. Itatake Hokkaido, am I still in Japan or the UK? I am in the UK. I'm not even legally allowed back in Japan because they basically just cut off like anyone who's not Japanese from going back into the country. I've even heard stories about permanent residents, like people who have lived in Japan forever. They have permanent right of residence in Japan, not being allowed on flights back to Japan because they had to go back to their home country for whatever reason. Let's see. Nintendo Sony Anime Collector 876. Yes, I live in the UK now, have for the last couple months. Left Japan, I want to say May. I guess it's, soon actually. It'll be the 3-month anniversary of having left Japan. Micro Machines. Oh, I can see the label now. Thank you very much. Andy Dixon, yes, that is Micro Machines. It is not Codemasters. Codemasters is the developers, which is really surprising that they would have the developer's name so large on the box. You didn't see that back then, really. Let's see, what else have we got? Have we got anything huge here? I mean, we've got some cool stuff. I think something that I didn't get to. Oh, there's the huge one. That is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. You can tell not just from the label, but also from the link with the Goron mask there. That is going for So it's extra what, $15? So that's almost $70 for Majora's Mask. And you also need to be aware that in order to play Majora's Mask on the N64, you need the expansion pack. And the expansion pack is already an additional $20. And this does not look like it's the copy that came with the expansion pack. It may very well be, but I can't tell from this angle. Man, completed box, like in Japan, I want to say it's like a $20 game. And you're going to be getting better frame rate with the Japanese version and the American version. I wonder what it would be like loose. That's interesting to me. We've also got Poppin' Twinbee for the Super NES. That's going for $50. That's probably a $20 game in Japan, but it's another like shooter. What we got? Toe Jam and Earl in Panic on Funkatron for the Mega Drive, going for about $20. Chuck Rock complete in box going for $10, and Toe Jam and Earl 2 going for about $25. And yes, Andy points out that the box on that Majora's Mask is awful. That's definitely, like, you would not see that at Mandarake. Like, that would be like D-grade Mandarake. They would not sell that at Super Potato. They would knock all kinds of prices off on it. And looking at the prices on here, it's looking, I would bet you anything they're not grading based on condition. So if you were lucky and you found like a mint copy of Majora's Mask, that would also be 52 pounds. There would also be $70. Whereas you've also got this, like, the box. I'm sure the gameplay is fine, but the box there is like, yeah, I would think twice if I was looking for this game. I would think twice about buying that. Looking at what else we've got here, actually took a lot of this. Actually, this CAX actually had a lot of stuff. Look at that! Look at that label on that Super Mario Land. Like, let's see. Hopefully, I can pause it. No, I can't pause it right. But it's just like $10 for Super Mario Land. That's what you'd pay for it in the box in Japan. Donkey Kong Land 2. So it's sort of like the portable version of Diddy's Kong Quest. They're going for about what is that, $8? And then we've got South Park Rally Unboxed going for $17. What is that, like $18? I forget. You know, when I was a kid, I played a lot of the South Park games. I didn't have them, but I knew friends who had them. And I think I might have rented them a couple times. And that's, yeah, I noticed they don't have the ratings on them. I think the North American ones do have the ratings on them. But it's interesting to me. Oh boy. Actually, sometimes when I play it too often, hold on. I gotta restart the stream there. Nope, not that one. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. There we go. Open that. Bring it back. There it is. Now, where were we? Yeah, sometimes when I play videos in VLC and I like pause and start it up again, it like, for some reason, it just stops. It might be something with the encoder. And then we've got Rayman. I can't believe Rayman's only like $7. And then look at that. So look at that. So we've got an actual, this copy of Yellow, like, looks pretty good. Like, that looks like it's in fine condition. And it's the same price as the garbage copy as we were just looking at 5 minutes ago. Like, it's just crazy to me that shops here can get away with this. It's like unbelievable. And then we've got, and what really surprised me was, look at these two N64 controllers. These are going for about like $20, $23. This is pretty much what you would pay for these things in Japan. Like, in Japan, N64 controllers can range from anywhere from, if you're buying them not in the junk section, yeah, like they're anywhere from like $18 to $25. And while the left one looks a bit rough because it's got those specs, or it might be the glass, the one on the right looks perfectly fine. And the issue here is going to be the same for any controller you get for the N64. It's just going to be that stick. I know there have been some like modern reproduction N64 controllers that try to mimic the Hori pad to where it's got like the sort of the GameCube-like stick in it. Smash TV, I don't know. I can't tell you. So Andy is asking if the price on Smash TV is good at $13, 10 pounds. I'm not sure. I don't know what the Japanese price for that is, or if it's even a PAL exclusive, so I can't tell you that. We've got the PS1 console here. It is discounted, and I can't tell why. I'm hoping it comes with the controller and all of its cords. It's going here for $40. And that's actually about what you would pay for a PS1 these days. The PS1 skyrocketed in price years ago, and it's in Japan. It's held at about $40. Now the real shocker here is this Dreamcast here going for, let's see, just doing my J Contra math here. It's almost $110 for a loose Dreamcast. I'm guessing it comes with all of the controller cords and everything. A Dreamcast in Japan, if you're lucky and you find it at a hard off, it's probably going to be anywhere from $40 to $50. Buying it in Akihabara, it can be anywhere from $60 to $70, especially if you're buying it at Trader. Here, I cannot believe the Dreamcast is so expensive here in Europe. It's crazy. And yeah, Itadaki Hokkaido points out, picking are slims compared to the US and Japan, but are they really that slim on something like the Dreamcast? Did it really die that quickly? And Danny's pointing out that it's really expensive. So, I'm pretty sure I've seen it cheaper in America, but I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen a Dreamcast in the US. And then what's also interesting to me is that you've got the tank, as I like to call it, the tank PS1 here. It's also going for It's also going for $40. I would have thought the PS1, the smaller one, would have been more expensive, because I honestly think, as much as I love the original PlayStation, the PS1 is absolutely phenomenal design. I love it. I love how small it is. I love the special kind of white that it's got. But it's going for the same price. So I guess it's as in demand, or maybe there's a weird supply and demand issue there. Oh, and then there's the big one. So yeah, so we walk out to the big showcase outside here. And that's where we get some big ones. So we've got Pokemon Red on the left there. That's going for what would that be, $25? To me, it's still crazy that Red is so cheap, especially in Japan, where Red is, it can easily be, if you're buying it in box, it's $30. The thing is, if you're going to Japan, when all this craziness is over with, this is easily it's a $30 game complete if you're buying it outside of Tokyo. If you're buying it in Akihabara, it can be $50, $60, so be very careful. And then you've got the Super Nintendo controller there on the right with its beautiful multicolored buttons. And it's only going for was that $18? That's, yeah, it's more expensive. You could probably buy it for $10 in Japan, but you're also not able to go to Japan these days. And then golf for $3. That's crazy. And then Baldell points out that spending $25 for Pokemon Red, a lot of these games have actually substantially increased in price. I have a video coming out next week where I talk about this, but I was really blown away by how expensive some things have got, especially GameCube games. They've gotten really expensive in the last couple of months, and it's entirely because of the current health crisis. And then look at the tribal. If you want to know about the hubris of video games in the early 2000s, look no further than the tribal Game Boy Advance. That's got some Mike Tyson face tattoos on it. And I cannot believe that someone would pay $60 for that. If you have no other option and you need a Game Boy Advance SP, I'm not going to blame you. But if you have other options, it's just not for me. I'm not going to judge you. If you like it, then more power to you. Go and buy this at Kex. I've seen multiples of these at different Kexes, going for the same price at $60. But boy, it's the tribal tattooed Game Boy Advance SP is just not for me. Wasn't there there's an ad where it is canon that Mario has a tribal tattoo, and it was to market this. That screen actually didn't look bad, though. And then we've got the Isolated Warrior here going for, what is that, $10? And then Pokemon Leaf Green. Leaf Green out of the box going for, what even is that? $45? You can pick that up for $40 complete in Japan. Even probably cheaper, because most people even want Fire Red, which is a little bit more expensive in Japan. And then we go to the big boy. We've got this PAL version Now, did Super Nintendos have PAL version like on that dust cover? Because so the thing is, you also if you're not familiar, the Super Famicom, the Japanese Super Nintendo, was basically just this. I think even the cartridge slot was the same dimension. But yeah, so Thomas Brin is pointing out, or Bjorn, sorry, is pointing out that SoulSilver was €100, so that's about $120 at his Kex. At the Kex I went to recently, SoulSilver I think was it 85 pounds or was it 65 pounds? So it was either like $90 or was the same. It was like $110. Like it is crazy how expensive SoulSilver and Heart Gold have gotten, especially when the Japanese versions can be had for like $40. Like you can go, and the thing is the DS versions. This was before Pokemon made the good decision, frankly, where you could change each cartridge of Pokemon from like I think X and Y forward had all of the languages on that cartridge. Whereas the DS versions, like Gen 4, it was just the language of the region you bought it in. So like the Japanese version, it's only Japanese, which is a shame because it's $40. But then maybe if it did have all the languages on it, it would be even more expensive. Yeah, so all right. Andy is saying, yeah, it has PAL on the lid, and Merlip is also he has confirmed for us on his Super Nintendo. It is indeed does say PAL version on it, and I'm guessing that's just to be like, hey, your NTSC games aren't going to work on this. It's really surprising, and to see it go for that's what $70. I want to say if you you can buy complete boxed versions of the Super Famicom for there's a real range on them. I've seen them in hard offs that go from $30 to in some places if they're in like mint pristine condition, like even a condition comparable to this. This actually looks fairly good. It goes for I want to say easily like if it's in good condition at like say Akihabara, it could be like $100 or more. Loose in Akihabara, you could find this at Trader for like $50, no problem. And then Andy's saying, wait until you see the price of Heart Gold, SoulSilver with lenticular covers. Like, that absolutely blew me away. In America, we did not get the cool holographic covers. Apparently, you did in the UK. And George has both SoulSilver and Heart Gold with the holographic covers. And it's, like, absolutely crazy that they exist. Now, is there anything else to this video, or is it just that? Nope. Okay, yeah. All right, that's it. Okay, so that is that video. That's the end of that. Or actually, hold on. Let me see. Oh, here comes George. If you, we're gonna blow you away, Andy Dixon. Oh, so we're gonna go into the GameCube games in a second. How much do you think these go for?
I don't know.
So the Heart Gold and SoulSilver that I saw at Kex did not have the covers, and it was going for anywhere. I can't remember if it was 65 or 85 pounds. So George just brought down, she has SoulSilver. Hope you can see the light here. And it's got the holographic. I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but she has the holographic versions. Like, I wonder how much even, because you didn't even get these in Japan. I'm pretty sure these are like UK PAL exclusive. And then here we've even got the SoulSilver. So yeah, I wonder how much these are going for. So this is basically what you got in Japan. You got the cool, it's shiny, it's got the Pokewalker in it. But then in the UK, for whatever reason, you got the cool holographic covers here. So George, once again, coming to the rescue after Final Fantasy Origins. Let's see. Itazaki Hokkaido is asking, how are the shmups prices in the UK? Like, I'm betting they're expensive because I can't even find them. Like, I haven't found a shmup here in the UK, but I've only been to like 2 stores so far. So here we go to the GameCube games. Now, this is crazy to me because on the right, you've got the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. If you were in the US, the way you got this was, I think you subscribed to Nintendo Power and you just got it for free, pretty much. And for a while, it was hovering around $100. Seeing it here for like 55 is really surprising because I thought this would have been more expensive here. Let's see. Merlip is saying Kex prices are normally 10 to 15 pounds cheaper than eBay, and it's good for trading in modern games for retro stuff, which I tend to do. For example, Skies of Arcadia Legends is 70 pounds, but they don't specify the condition. That's the big thing here. And actually looking at these, the condition doesn't look terrible. Yes, it's player's choice for Super Mario Sunshine there on the left, but considering that American copies of Super Mario Sunshine are going for like $60, $70, like that's something that I'll talk about in a future video. But the GameCube prices, Japanese GameCube prices have not changed, at least not in the last month. They're still incredibly cheap. And like Super Mario Sunshine, I think was actually made in like all the voiceovers are in English. Like there's no Japanese voiceover. All the text is still in Japanese, mind you. And then look at that, like Super Smash Brothers, like that's like $40. $40 for Super Smash Brothers Melee? That's like easily like what, a $70 game US now? Like that's crazy. And then the big one over there, we'll get to that in a second, but the like Pikmin for like $15? Like, that's so good. Let's see. Naywan is asking. I'll answer your question in a second. Sorry, Naywan. And then, like, Ouija's Mansion going for, like, $35? And then, like, DX. So, the big thing there, Sonic Adventure DX. I know it's player's choice. Who cares? Going for, like, what is that? $17. Sonic Adventure DX in Japan. There is a version of it. I don't know if it's DX, but there is a Delta Sonic Adventure. I don't know if it's this version or if it's, like, a special version. That's like an $80 game. It is very rare in Japan. Let's see. Naywan is asking, what sort of Japanese level would you need to comfortably play Japanese games? It really depends. I would say a basic level would get you through Pokemon, especially if you set it to just the hiragana, because Pokemon, it's meant for kids. So none of the Japanese is going to be super complicated. If you're talking like Final Fantasy, like I'm N2 in Japanese, which is sort of like the threshold between intermediate and advanced. And I understood the broad strokes of Final Fantasy. Like I just beat Final Fantasy IV in Japanese, and I was able to understand most of it, but a lot of the finer points I think got past me because I'm not like super fluent yet. Merlip's saying Dreamcast games are shooting up in price over here, but the Saturn has mini games over 150 pounds. Like, yeah, I really do not want to be collecting like non-Japanese Sega Saturn. They're already really expensive Sega Saturn games in Japan. There are way more in the UK and the US. Yeah, okay, so that's the end. Oh, and the Quidditch World Cup going for $7. And then yeah. The True Crime Streets of LA. Okay, so that's Kex, everybody. I'm gonna take a little break here just to drink some water. Any questions in the chat? Now's the time as we take a little break. Let's see, we've got Dreamcast games, Dreamcast games from Merlip, and then Coco Ichibanya are saying, after seeing GameCube prices, Wii U is going to be expensive. Like, that's the thing, is that if you have a job now and you've still got income, now is absolutely the time you should be buying Wii U games, because I could really see those not within the next year or two, but I want to say within the next 5 years. I want to say 5 years from this date. So 2025. It's like, what's the sort of the wisdom is that it's 15 years after the system was first released. And especially because Wii U is a really weird case because all of the really good games, save for a couple, save for like Pikmin 3, the remakes of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, save for a couple games, most of the big Wii U games had Switch ports. So like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Zelda Breath of the Wild, all of the really well-known Switch games ended up coming out or the well-known Wii U games came out for the Switch. There's going to be some highly coveted ones, like Devil's Third is going to be huge. Like, now's the time you should be buying Devil's Third. But like even Wonderful 101, Bayonetta 2 got a Switch port. Honestly, I can't think of anything that's like... The Wii U didn't really have anything obscure. It didn't have any like obscure shooters. It didn't have like an Ikaruga or that one castle shooting game. there's nothing super obscure that I can think of for the Wii U that I can think of commanding $100, $200 price tags. Besides maybe Devil's Third, I just can't think of one. Let's see. Naywon's asking, what would be a good console to collect for in the UK in terms of price currently? I mean, honestly, the GameCube. Looking at these GameCube prices at Kex, your selection's going to be limited, but there's lots of like sort of B tier GameCube games that are really cheap. Like Pikmin at $12. Like that's insane. Pikmin is an amazingly good game, and so buying it for $12 is really good. Andy Dixon's pointing out Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water. Yeah, that's true. That'll probably get really expensive because since it's such a unique title, it hasn't been ported anywhere else. Yeah, that'll probably get expensive eventually when people want to start collecting Wii U sets. Really? Okay, so I see a lot of this. I don't know what UK games what they cost. I'm only familiar with the Japanese versions. But like Japanese Maiden of the Black Water is like $30. Like it's still pretty cheap. Alberto Marquez is saying PSP is the best handheld. I think George would disagree with you on that one. Let's see. Deku Got Next says, as a PS Vita collector, now the time to collect for that. Price is already really high for those. Yeah, George has been telling me about just some really expensive Vita games. She got super lucky getting the Papers, Please port for the Vita, which I mean, I'd be interested to see how expensive that gets once it starts hitting eBay. The thing about the Vita is that there's a lot of, in Japanese terms, I don't know about the UK, but there's a lot of common games, and I want to say the most expensive game is about $100. George tells me about like the $200, $300 games that there are for the Vita in the UK and the US, and I'm just like blown away because I don't know anything about the Vita. And the memory cards, yeah, but I mean Merlip saying that the memory cards are super expensive in the UK. That's true everywhere. That's not just a UK thing. Actually, hold on a second. I will be back in 1 second. I'm just going to refill my water because we've got a whole... Actually, let me open up that. Let me open this up and start playing. Yeah, hold on 1 second while I just fill up my water.
You need me to school you on the Vita, baby.
What?
You need me to school you on the Vita, baby.
Eventually, yes.
Eventually.
All right, strap in, folks, because my blood sugar is running a little low, so I had to get a scone. Yeah, Persona. It's really surprising to me to see Persona 4 for the Vita become so expensive just after the Steam version gets released. Okay, let me just turn on. Okay, hopefully everyone can hear me again. So here we are going to go to the way back of 2017. We're going to be going into the Super Potato RetroCon, which is located in the middle of Osaka in the Dotonbori district. I love going here, and people who have been watching the channel for a while probably know my feeling towards Super Potato. But if you haven't seen it before, Super Potato is sort of the legend of retro game collecting in Japan. It's where everyone goes when they visit. Super Potato is actually native to Osaka. People know about the one in Tokyo in Akihabara, but it actually started out in Osaka. The RetroCon, I think I actually went to the RetroCon like before it became the RetroCon. Super Potato just used to be a regular like video game shop. in Osaka, and then it was only within the last 20 years, well, only the last 20 years that it started doing retro stuff. And this one, I want to say, opened up within the last 5 years. Like, it opened up after I moved to Japan. Merlip saying, I have to go to Japan before I perish. Yeah, definitely. Visiting Japan at least once is always going to be worth it. Not only for the games, but just because of just how amazing it is to visit Japan. We can talk about living in Japan separately. Andy Ambergo is saying, Super Potato is great. Love to shop at Super Potato. Alberto Marquez. Yeah, Super Potato is fun to visit, but in Osaka, it's hard to say because I'm not that familiar with Osaka in terms of like where to buy games, but in Tokyo, I can't tell you the last time I bought a game. Actually, the one game I've bought from here was Battle Garega, the Sega Saturn shooter, and that was actually, I bought it at an okay price at the time. It's since collapsed, but I love it, so it doesn't matter. Now, Andy's saying he found a Game Boy Light at Super Potato. Andy, how much did you spend on that Game Boy Light? Because if you're buying that at Super Potato, oh my God, I actually, yeah, I'd kind of want to know how much you're spending on that. So here we go. So this must have been, yeah. So this was back in the summer of 2017. What was even going on in my life back then? 2017. What was I doing back then? I was probably starting, that would have been right before I'd started my new job when I worked at the university. So I'm really curious. I've actually already scrolled through the video to see what some of the prices on these things were. And like the Game Boy Advance stuff is like, you're going to like, I just was so surprised to see how cheap some of these Game Boy Advance games were back in 3 years ago. Here's all the cool, like that's one of the cool things about Super Potato is not only is it like nostalgic in terms of the video games that it was selling, but also just in the ephemera that it was selling. Let's see. Andy is saying, you spent $7,000. You spent like $70 on a Game Boy Light. Holy crap! When was this, Andy? Like $70 for a Game Boy Light's really good. So yeah, the other thing is about Super Potato is that back in the day it used to just kind of be wall to wall video games. Now it's taken up a lot of space with just like tchotchkes and merch. So it doesn't have quite the selection it used to. This is also true back in 2017. It's not so bad now. It has a lot more games now. 2019, 2020. So let's look at some of these bad boys. So Rekka, oh, there's my, you move my finger. So what we got? We got Rekka there, singularly the best shooter that ever came out for the Famicom. This is actually like, even for the time, this was back when Famicom was really at its height. And so seeing it for, this would have been probably like $900 at the time. That was actually like pretty good because Summer Carnival '92 can easily be like $1,500 if it's in mint condition. Here it looks like it's, and it has a video with it. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. It comes with a videotape. I wonder what's on that. And then looking to the right, it's got a complete in-box Castlevania. Castlevania in Japan is really expensive. It's going for $300. That's not bad. Like, that's actually pretty good for the time, whereas normally it would have been like $500. It could easily have been $500. I'm really surprised to see how cheap some of these games were, even back then. And then it's got battle formulas going for like $1,100. That's pretty good. That's another thing. That's actually become, or no, actually, you know what? Just for fun, since this is a live stream, I want to see how much Battle Formula is going for. I want to say it's like, Battle Formula is one of those weird ones where it got really expensive because it's like a foreign release, even though in America it's like a $20 game, but in Japan it's like a $1,000 game because it just didn't get printed. Now on Surugaya, it is going complete for about the same price. So this Super Potato tends to be overpriced, even back in 2017. Let's see. Ian Hobbies is asking, "Hello Jay, can you recommend a Japanese shop with online sales as convenient as Amazon for us living in the EU?" So I have not yet bought anything online from Japan. Not yet, at least. Surugaya is probably going to be the one you want to go with because they have experience just shipping stuff abroad. Surugaya has an English website. It's all machine translation. So if you know Japanese, you might be able to use the Japanese site better. But the English site probably is more used to. The staff is probably more used to dealing with foreign orders. That's the one I'm just going to recommend, but I haven't used it myself, so take that with a grain of salt. Mandarake is going to be much more pricey, but it's going to be better in terms of actually when you're looking at an item, you're actually going to be looking at the thing you're going to be purchasing, whereas Surugaya will just be selling like the listing will just have a generic picture of the thing you're buying, and Surugaya is a much more loose organization in terms of what it considers like in good condition. So be careful with that. George is saying she used a service who did shipping abroad for Yahoo auctions. Yeah, that's like Buy-E is one that I've heard thrown around, but again, I have no experience with any of these. What else have they got? This might have been the visit where they had that gold. This is the only place I've ever seen the gold copy of Mega Man 6 or 4. What else have we got here? Battletoads going for $300. Contra, original Contra going for $270. Oh, there's the greatest. Is that the Archimedes version going for $900? Well, then they've got Gimmick going for $600. Interesting. Let's see. Gimmick for how much is Gimmick now? Let's see what Gimmick is now on Surugaya. So after 3 years, how much is Gimmick? Just for the games. I want to see the games. So Surugaya now for Gimmick. Complete on Surugaya in good condition. Really, it's going for the same price now. So looking at it, what these Famicom games were in 2017. I'm really surprised to see the prices on these have gone up because I was always under the impression that the Famicom was old news by now and that the prices have gone down. But even looking at Surugaya prices, they've actually, and some of the other thing you need to notice is, oh no, this is so weird because some Super Potatoes will include the price of tax, which is 10% in their prices. Here they do not, so you've got to add another 10% onto these. So this Gimmick is actually $700, even when you adjust for the price of for the currency conversion. So it's really interesting to me to see that these prices in 2017 are where Famicom prices are even now. It's even gone up 10% over the last 3 years. It's really surprising to me. Let's see. Andy's asking, what is the typical price of a Game Boy Light in Japan today? Oh, really expensive. You just don't see Game Boy Lights anymore. Let's see. What else have we got? Yeah, there's Puzzle Bobble there. That's $400. That's going to be hard for me to search for on Surugaya, so I don't want to waste time looking at that. Going for $400. That's like some of these complete in box stuff is just really surprising. And then look at that boy, man! Summer Carnival '92, the cartridge for $500. Man, I mean that's even at Mandarake now. It's like $300 for Summer Carnival. I'm guessing, I'm thinking so. Probably what's happened, just generally with the Famicom, is the box prices for all the rare stuff have either held steady or gone up a little bit. And then all of the cartridge prices have just like collapsed. And that's true of the Super Famicom as well, I want to say. And this was back when Unholy Knight was new. And then this was like back in 2017, a PS1 was like $20 at Hard Off. And then look at that, there's a new copy of Rule of Rose. Oh my god. First of all, in America, Rule of Rose is like, what is it even now? Is it like a $700 game? Like, let me even look that up. So the Japanese copy has always been cheaper, but I think I can't remember if I've already released it or not. But Super Potato in Akihabara has a lot of sealed games. One of them was Rule of Rose, and it's easy like $400 sealed in Japan. Rule of Rose now, if you're buying it loose, is $500 in the US on eBay. That's crazy. And then just seeing it new here in Japan for $90, man, like that was a thing. You know, for a while, like there was a small retailer. There's a small retro game shop in the town that I used to live near. It had a copy of Rule of Rose for like $50. Like Rule of Rose in Japan, nobody wanted it. But then I think in America, it got super expensive. And then people wanted the Japanese version. The PS1, this is actually really pricey. And then seeing that PS2 in the background for like, it's sort of always been $100. Like even back in the day, that looks like one of the thin versions. Like look at that. And then the new copy of Kingdom Hearts, sealed Kingdom Hearts 2 going for $30. Wow. And that's actually, hold on. Whoa, okay, all right, here we go. This is the big one. I actually just got a specific question about this. These are like this is some of the big shit here. Sorry to use some swear language here. You cannot find this anymore. You cannot find a gold cart of Rockman 4 anymore. This was really expensive back in the time. This was going for, I guess if you include the tax, this would be $6,000 for this copy of Rockman 4. Like, I don't even know if you could have possibly I don't think you can find this anymore. Like, if this was to go out on the market now, I mean, it could easily be 8-10 grand for this after all these years. Wow, I can't believe I knew I had seen it, and just to have documented evidence of this is really surprising. I can't believe I finally found it. And then what's that? How much is that copy of Hot Scramble going for? That's another one. So if you don't know the story behind the gold cartridge of Rockman 4, only 8 of them were ever made. And that's because you won them in a contest. You submitted boss designs to go into Rockman 4. I think if you won, I can't remember if your design was used or not. But actually, it's kind of legendary because someone who actually went on to design Mega Man bosses. It was either someone who went on to design Mega Man bosses or someone who is a big video game art designer now in Japan. When he was a kid, he actually submitted a winning design and actually has one of these cartridges. And then he went on to have a successful career. Yeah, Andy's pointing out what I was just saying. But yeah, and then Hot Scramble, it's normally like a $5 game. But the gold cartridge, you got it somehow. I can't remember. But it's like $1,000 for Hot Scramble Gold. Let's see, and then there's a couple of gold discs that I can't remember like why they're so expensive, but even now they're more expensive than that. And then we got some big boys here. Whoa! So we got the PC Engine LT. I want to say that is the LCD screen that you attached to the PC Engine. Here it's going for $3,000. For one, because I bet a lot of these, the backlight died out on them. So to actually repair them would actually be supremely difficult. And then to the right, we've got a PC Engine GT. That's going for $400. It's probably even more expensive today. And the thing about the PC Engine GT is that actually a lot of them are in states of disrepair because the caps on them are bad. And I believe you can also connect the GTs to a television, if I'm remembering correctly. And then how much is the Duo R? That's $250 for what's a good condition Duo R, that's held steady. That's a in Akihabara, that's probably like $400 now for one of those. And then let's see, these are the big ones. This stuff is really expensive now. So let's zoom in. Let's see what the price is on some of these. That Game Boy Advance SP, I want to say is even now, it's like $200 now in the box. Probably even more. I actually just looked at these. That's something we can look at on Sudogaya. I'm very curious to see what those are going to be like on Sudogaya. I got to go to the retro game section. See, this is, so if you're just joining us, this is the price of Japanese video games at Super Potato back in 2017. So where Super Potato was in 2017 is where most other retro game shops would be now in Japan, because it was just really expensive back then. Hold on, I want to make sure. Let's go to the portable games. Where are the portable games? Why won't it show me the portable games? Oh, there we go. Keitai games. That actually, I want to say those are the same price now, because I just looked at a Super Potato video that I made that I'd filmed in 2020. The Game Boy Micro, I guess, just shot up in price and hasn't gone anywhere. That's so surprising to me. Okay, yeah, I can't find it, but it's more expensive now, I want to say. And I'm also surprised. Wow, look at that. A copy of Raiden for the Jaguar is going for $700. Wow. Let's see. Danny's saying, I remember buying my Dual R in 2013 for under $200. They're expensive now. Yeah, the Dual R, it's sort of, if you find it outside of Tokyo, it's about $200. And if you find it in Akihabara, loose, it's maybe $200. If you find it complete, it's $400. I think the PC engine's really stabilized in the last few years. I was really lucky. As I was leaving Japan, I found a junk Duo R, and I bought it for $40. It had the cables and the controller and everything. There was just a problem with the CD drive that I ended up fixing. And that's really, if you want to save money on the Dual R now, you just have to get lucky and hopefully find it in the junk section. It's beat up, but I'm hoping to paint it one day, actually. What else have we got here? Oh, this will be good. This will be good. I love the different variants of the Dreamcast. That middle one, that's the Seaman Dreamcast, that's going for $1,000. It looks like it's complete. I think it's got the box in the background. And then we've got the Majora versions going for, that's $3,000. Oh my God. For the Dreamcast, how much is that going for on Sudogaya? Let me look that up. That I'd be very curious to see, because like the variant Dreamcast, they are all expensive. That Hello Kitty Dreamcast, I actually have that. I bought it for like $40 back when it was cheap. And to see it now for $200. Well, this was 2017, it was $200. Let me see how much these are going for now. This is going for, let's see, let me order it by price. That is going for the Majora version. I can't even find the Majora version. It is that rare. And the, oh no, wait, no, here it is. So on Sudogaya, the Majora version is going for $3,000. So this would have been high priced back in the day. And I don't even know what it was supposed to be celebrating. And then let me see if they've got the pink. Yeah, I can't even find the Hello Kitty Dreamcast here. So it's become quite rare. Let's see, Constar is asking, in Japanese shops, is there any indication on the outside of the box games of whether the Hagaki or any flyers and such are included, or do they only mention the manual specifically? That's a very good question. from what I can tell, at Japanese retro shops, a complete game is considered to be the box, the manual, the game itself. Now, different shops will have different they'll tell you if it's missing something. I want to say Mandarake will tell you if it doesn't have the postcard in it, the Hagaki or not. Oh, but don't quote me on that. I want to say they won't. Honestly, if you are when we're able to go back in the shops, Constar, you can just take it up to the counter and just ask to look at what's inside, and they'll show you. No problem. There's no problem asking for that. But in general, if that's what you're looking for specifically, I would just assume that it doesn't. Usually they will, but they will have it because I've got a lot of games that still have the thing inside it. I don't think they will tell you on the outside of the box. Usually just box, manual, and sometimes like the inner box as well. Deku Got Next is asking, how much does a PSP go for in Japan? I want to say like $50. It's still pretty cheap. PSP is not really that sought after in Japan. Let's see. Let's move along. What else have we got? What other crazy stuff are we going to see? Oh, I can't believe I skipped over that GameCube. Oh my god. I hope I go back to that. That GameCube's really expensive now. Look at this. Look at this. This American Super Nintendo is going for $550. It does have 7 games, though. I can't tell what the games are, though. That Super Nintendo just came with some games, but I can't. Yeah. Then we go to the other showcase. I'm pretty sure this is. I filmed this a long time ago. Like that was, you can tell. Like obviously, I did not give a crap about the GameCube back then. It's like, oh, GameCube, that's never going to be expensive, except for like it's like $1,000 GameCube now. All right, so look at this. This was back. The Pokemon Go craze had hit everything like a ton of bricks. So $50 for complete in-box Pokemon games at this point was not really, like, this was totally reasonable back in the day. But this is still even like cheaper than what the American versions go for now. These are all going for like $50. Oh, from here. This is about the 20th anniversary. Oh, there's some action replays. Wow. Oh, wow. Look at those N64 prices. So they've got Custom Robo V2 is a really good action game that was Japanese exclusive. That's going for $30. We've got that copy of it's a Japan exclusive Goemon game. It's like a board game of Goemon. It's going for $70. Beetle Adventure Racing is easily like a $150 game now. And then Get or Love is $200 at Super Potato. I'd say, yeah, you'd probably find it at like Sudagaya for like $200. $150 for Bangayo, yeah. GoldenEye, yeah, that's pretty expensive. All right, this is going to be the big stuff here. All these Game Boy Advance games. These are easily like $70 now, these copies of Mother. Let's see. Robert Dutcher is asking, do you ever plan on coming back to the U.S. to live? Yeah, to live. Maybe someday. Definitely not within the next 6 months. Like, not to live. I'll have to go back because my visa is going to run out in like 3 months. That's going to be rough. Looking at these Kiki Kai Kai. Actually, I'm going to look this up now because Game Boy Advance prices in Japan are absolutely insane. I need to look these up to see how much. Go to Keitai Games. I want to say Kiki Kai Kai, Pocky and Rocky is like $600 now. Like easy. No, not that one. I want. Where? I was just looking this up before. It's so interesting to me that the Super Potato prices back in 2017 are exactly where all of these expensive games are now in 2020. Like it's like Super Potato is like 3 years ahead of the curve on being overpriced in everything. Yeah, let me just make sure Surugaya. I'm really curious to see how expensive these games have become. Yeah, let's look at the expensive. Yeah, and then ordered by price. So what have we got here? I can't. Oh yeah, maybe I should probably be showing this up on the big screen. Yeah, Kiki Kaikai is like $400 now. So here it's going for $220, like $240. That's doubled in price in the last 3 years. What else? Let's see. Double Dragon is going for $270 here. Double Dragon, that's now $350. So that's not gone up in price terribly. What else have we got? Double Dragon, like that's the real shame. That's the real one I want because I love Double Dragon, but I'm not paying $250 for a Double Dragon game. Anything else remarkable here? So let's look at some of the cartridge prices. So yeah, Zelda's gonna like it's $80. That's not a surprise. That's probably what it is about now. All of these cartridge prices have probably gone down. It's the box prices that have really held. Like look at that copy of Wild Guns. Like Wild Guns is now a $200 game. Like yeah, 3 years ago. So this is 2017 is when the Famicom it had peaked and the Super Famicom was like it was going up like a roller coaster. $400, I guess. It was expensive for the time, but now it's a $200 game. Like you can buy Wild Guns easy, no problem. And then oh, interesting. The sample ROMs. So they've got copies of the Seiken Densetsu 3 sample ROMs going for $80. In complete in box, those could go for anywhere from $150 to $300. I can't. There's different prices for the different sample games that came out. Let's see. How much for? Let's see. Johan Venn asks for how much for Sega Mega Drive 1 complete in box. Japanese? Oh, it's really expensive. It's easily like $200 complete. Robert Torres is asking, are the Neo Geo CD games cheaper in Japan? Ooh, they definitely were a few years ago. I don't know about now. I used to collect for the Neo Geo CD. I don't know what they're like now. Rendering Ranger R2, $700 for R2. That is, oh yeah, that's probably what it is about now. It's in that classic game that's really expensive and is just going to stay expensive. And then Iron Commando has also gotten cheaper a little bit, especially if you find it at if you find it at Mandarake with a couple like scratches on it, super cheap. Turrican, God, yeah, Turricans. Look, oh my God, oh no, that's Rendering Ranger R2 with the manual and the cartridge, but not the box. That's crazy to me. Wow, that's actually I filmed a lot in here. That's crazy. I think we might yeah. Okay. Hagane, yeah, $200. Like it's crazy to me that Hagane even loose is like $300 in America. It's probably like all this stuff is probably even more expensive now in America because of the health crisis. Like just man, look at how like I love going to Super Potato and just looking at the games, but I have no desire to touch any of these. Like even back in 2017. What else is there? Like it's just I'm still blown away by just how much stuff there is. And then like Mike Tyson's Punch Out for $120, like no, even then at Mandarake, it was like a $60 game. And then Rockman, yeah, Rockman's gotten really cheap. It used to be it used to be a $450 game. Oh, hate to see it. Look at that. That's the Is that Game Boy Color or it's the last Game Boy Castlevania? It's going for $90 here. That is now like easily 150 100 yeah, it's easily $150 game, I want to say. I wonder if they have Ghost Babel. That's a game I really want now. I can't see it. And then what do we get? Yeah, so we get the regular Famicoms. Um, $60 back in the day was expensive. I remember buying a complete in-box Famicom at a hard off for like $20 at about the same time. Yeah, the AV Famicom is easily like $100 now. It's probably even cheaper. Complete in box, it's like maybe even 75. There, it's selling for like 200. And the other thing about the original Famicom is that you actually need an RF switch to get it to work. That's why the AV Famicom is so expensive. Is because that's the easiest way to play Famicoms, even on modern TVs now. Because you can't plug those things into modern TVs. The original Famicom. Yeah, George is saying she got a top loader for $20. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like Super Potato's just always been expensive, but sometimes it's egregious. And then how much are they selling loose GameCubes for? I couldn't see the price on that. And then like look at these my God, look at these complete Famicoms. How much is this? Like $200 for a complete Famicom. Like even back then, like were you joking? Yeah, I gotta get some sound effects for this. It's crazy to me on some of this stuff. Like, oh my God, yeah, I'm so glad I got my arcade stick for the Dreamcast. Like even in 2017, this was a really good selection. Like I'm actually surprised to see that back. This was when like retro game collecting was at its peak. This is when you had the most people coming in and just vacuuming in stuff, even in Super Potato, even at those inflated prices. This is like you just did not have a place that had a comparable selection of this. And then oh my God, I bet we're gonna get to the PC Engine, or not to the PC Engine, but to the Neo Geo CD, and I'm just gonna start weeping at how cheap, even for Super Potato, some of these games were 3 years ago because they got real expensive in the last couple of years. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the PC Engine stuff as I would like to be. Looking at the marquee titles, we got Double Dragon for $110. PC Engine again hasn't gone up that much in price. Looks like some MSX stuff, which I don't know that much about. Wow, Metal Gear for $110 just for the cartridge, and then Castlevania for the MSX going for $60. That looks like all the new trade-ins that they haven't put out on the floor yet. Yeah, yeah, Andy. I do hope we go to some Neo Geo stuff. I can't like I filmed this like 3 years ago. I can't remember what we get to. Looking at the Sega Saturn stuff. Here we go into some interesting stuff. So they've got Cotton Boomerang is going for $350. Saturn is another system that, whereas I think other systems, all the popular systems tend to plateau. Whereas I feel like probably the Sega Saturn is probably just going to get steadily, like incrementally more expensive, just because it's kind of hard to find some of these games. Anything I recognize, and I should also note a lot of these have the Obi, which can be like worth a lot of money now. Let's see, Nintendo 92 is asking, what are the Virtual Boy games going for in Japan now? A lot more than they used to. They used to be relatively cheap. I know there's a couple really expensive ones. Let's see. Yeah, the Kingdom Grand Prix with the Obi now, that's like $100 probably now. Like I remember buying it without the Obi at $60, and that was cheap a year or two ago. And I wish I liked it more. It's a good game, but it's not Battle Garega, so I was kind of disappointed when I got it. Well, William, funny you point that out. Seeing these in 2017. Yeah, this this video is from 2017. If you're just joining us. But look at, oh, that's okay. You can't see it very well. But Sengoku Blade today without the OB is easily being sold for $110, and here it's $80. So with the OB, it's probably like a $120 game now. So it looks like Sega Saturn games have in general gone up in price. And then look at that, Street Fighter 03 for $300. My God. And William's saying that, yeah, it's like a Kingdom Grand Prix is like more than $100 with the OB. Like, yeah, it's that price too in Japan, easy. Oh, and then there's some sealed games over there on the left. Panzer Dragoon, Nights into Dreams. I can't see the price on those though. Guess I didn't care that much about sealed games. Still don't really. Anything big? What have we got? Batsugun going with OB, $220. So all right. So if you're not familiar with what the OB is, it's the little spine cover. If you look at the middle, depending on how if you can read katakana, if you look at the band Presto, look at the bottom. It's the game that has a little mask on it with band Presto above it. On the left, you've got the copy of Batsugun with the OB. And then you've got the copy on the right without the OB. The OB is included. It came with all CD-based games. So like PC Engine CD, Sega CD, PlayStation, Dreamcast as well. It's a little spine cover that goes on the edge of the jewel case. This can be worth a lot of money, and you can see already this is worth $50 at Super Potato. Batsugun without the OB these days is probably like $150. And with the OB, I don't even want to know how much that is. Danny's saying he bought Street Fighter 03 with the OB for $100. Oh, you got so lucky with that, my man. That's easily, I want to say it's probably even more than $300 these days, but I haven't checked the price on it. A lot of really good games here. Metal Black. Then here we go. The Dreamcast. This will be really interesting to see. So, wow, look at that. A sealed copy of Zero Gunner going for $250. And then they've got an opened version with the OB going for $200. Like, it looks like that's about the price it goes for these days. Zero Gunner, by the way, it's pretty fun. Although, save yourself some money and buy the Sikyo or the Saikyo collection version. And then, Gunspike. Yeah, actually, I think I paid... So, Gunspike here with the OB is going for $75. That was the last game I bought as I was leaving Japan. And I spent like $75 on it. So, and then, Ikaruga is going for $100. You could find it cheaper at Trader, probably. And then look at that, Shenmue 2. Shenmue 2, this was, I think, a bit after Shenmue 3 had been announced. And the cost of Shenmue 1 and 2 like exploded to where this is probably even cheaper now. And look at that, border down there on the left going for $300. And then look at that, oh my god, all the super expensive Mega Drive games. How much is Vampire Killer? How much did it go for back in the day? I can't even see that sucks. They don't even have the price. You can't even see it because it's blocked. That's what drives me nuts about some of these showcases is that they just do not have, they don't have the price. Or they'll have the price on it, but they'll obscure it. Vampire Killer is like anywhere from $400 to $600 game, depending on condition now. Oh, see you later, George. Enjoy your Twitch, friend. How much? Wow, Snow Bros is going for $650. How much is that Super 32X? Like, that's the other thing. You can't easily tell the price on this stuff. Oh my god. So these monsters, even back in 2017, they have put a junk Game Gear. So on there, it says that it doesn't have sound. It is a junk Game Gear. You can't even hear the sound. It is $70. $70 for a Game Gear and Super Potato. Oh my god. That is absolutely crazy. I cannot believe that they did that. Like that's like $20. Like that, and it should. Oh, and then wow, they had new like fresh in the box Mega Drive AC adapters for $10. That's, you know, as much as I will poop all over Super Potato for having inflated prices, they just have cool stuff. Like they'll just find a shipping pallet of like Mega Drive AC adapters, and they're like, $10. It's crazy to me. Like I remember one day when I first went to Japan, they had a shipping container, not a shipping container, but like a pallet of Saikyo Habu Shogi, the first one of the launch games for the N64. They just had a whole like pallet of them. You could buy them for like $5 new at Super Potato. Let's see. Yeah, here's, the PlayStation. This is when PlayStation was starting to get really expensive. So I want to see like Wolfang. That's really expensive now. That's $40 here. The Castlevania game on the left with the Obi. That's easily like $60. Now I wonder if they have Serial Experiments Lane. That's the really expensive one. Look at that. Wow. So I want to say, so on the left is Symphony of the Night. One with the Obi is going for $90. The one on the right, no Obi, is going. Yeah, wow. So that was really expensive. Like that's probably what you'd pay for it now in Akihabara. The other Castlevania game, that's like the X6800 port of Castlevania. No Serial Experiments Lane. None of the super hyper expensive games. More Sega Saturn. I really hope we get to the Neo Geo CD stuff. That'll be really interesting because that's the stuff that I started picking up on sort of as I was leaving Japan. So I would be really fascinated to see how high those prices have climbed. And then the Saturn is, I think the next time I go to Japan, I'd like to get a lot of the cheap Saturn stuff. Like, and that's the other thing. Like, look at that. Dragon Force is like $10. Like, I don't even want to know. Like, hold on. Let's see how much Dragon Force is on eBay in America. Yeah, Dragon Force is like $400 for the North American copy. And then here, it's probably still $10. Like, and then you've got Panzer Dragoon Saga is like $25. Like, it's still that price in Japan. It's like, wait, maybe like $30. Like, none of the like uncommon games for the Sega Saturn have really gone up in price, but it's the rare games that have really held their value. And here we've got a Mark III Complete going for like, what's that, $200? Or no, the Complete is going for $300. The Loose looks like it's going for like $150. And there's your Master System. I couldn't tell the price on that. I wish I'd recorded this in 4K. That would have been nice. Excuse me. So let's see. What do they want for these systems? Really blurry. Sorry about that. So they've got the... Oh, excuse me. So that's the PC Engine Duo on the left. That looks like it's going for $200. I want to say it's more expensive now. I want to say, like, even loose, it's like $250, $300. You've got the Duo Rs there. You got the the Mega Jet. That's the one. What is that? Oh, that's the really small Mega Drive, right? Like it's like the portable Mega Drive almost. It's going for $180. Oh, and there's the Duo screen, the LCD screen. It's going for, how much is that? It's going for $1,000. Oh my God. Like half of this stuff you can't even find anymore. That's the thing, is that, as much as we want to complain about Super Potato prices, like that gold Mega Man cartridge, there's no way you can find that anymore. The Duo screen, you can't find that anymore. Like, that's the difference between 2017 and 2020. is that you just don't see half this stuff anymore. Let's see. Let's look at the Neo Geo. How was the Neo Geo doing back in 2017? Got ASO 2. You could find that at Trader now for like $200. Like even at Super Potato 3 years ago, shouldn't have been that expensive. Double Dragons going for 600. That one fighting game that I should know the name of, but I keep forgetting, is $600. Bunch of cartridges. Oh, dude, pass to me. Why didn't you go to the big name Neo Geo stuff? You fool. You buffoon. And the Mega Drive stuff, George would know more about this. I don't know that much about Mega Drive. I have a lot of Mega Drive games, but they're also a part of my pile of shame back in the US that I don't have access to. How much is that? So Thunder Force 2 is going for like $20. Thunder Force 4, how much is that? Like 35? It's probably about the same price now. I think it's gone up a little bit. I think Mega Drive along with PC Engine in Japan is one of those things that's sort of like probably going to steadily go up in price. And then Dreamcast, I don't see Dreamcast going up in price that much, simply because even though it was out for such a short time, it was just printed in such a volume. Yeah, Danny, Neo Geo, if I had stayed in Japan, I probably would have collected Neo Geo. But I just, at a certain point, I just, I would like to have been able to have afforded rent in Tokyo. Although probably, actually, yeah, it would have been pay rent or buy one uncommon Neo Geo game. That would have been the cost. And then, what is this? Was this Sonic Adventure? Yeah, so this is, that's the international version. So Sonic, it got released, it was like a launch window Dreamcast game back in, was it 98, 99? And then the foreign version, like the patched version, got re-released in Japan as Sonic International. And then it's only like a difference of like $2. Even though, like, that's where the Obi does not make that much of a difference. Like, the difference between Sonic Adventure with an Obi and without an Obi is like 50 cents. Whereas for some games, it's like $50. Tony Rat 2 saying, go back to Japan. Well, they won't even let me in right now because of the certain health crisis. But yeah, absolutely. If I go back to Japan, my number one priority is Dreamcast. Like, I'm really feeling that nostalgia for the Dreamcast era right now, like the early 2000s. So I really want to collect Dreamcast and GameCube when I go back. And like if I was able to start making some money, because right now I legally can't have a job due to my visa, I'd be buying Japanese Dreamcast games. So what have we got? Oh, are we going? Okay, we're going more portable. Going to the portables here. Yep, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going for $20. This is stuff that I do not know the price on this stuff anymore. Especially for the Game Boy stuff. I can maybe tell you some of the boxes, but especially for the loose stuff, Super Potato is going to be, it's always going to be on the sort of higher end compared to virtually every other shop in Japan. Like, and especially in terms of condition, like you're going to be paying the same price at Super Potato for worse condition games. That's my general opinion of Super Potato. And then look at these Game Boys. Wow, loose. This is also the period where Game Boy, not quite Game Boy Advance, but Game Boy was really skyrocketing in terms of price. These today, you could probably find these for about the same price at Trader, but like complete in box Game Boy Pockets are like $80 plus now. And same goes for Game Boy Color. I was really lucky to find mine when nobody wanted them for like $30. And then let's look, the big name Game Boy Advance games. These are your uncommon games. None of these are super rare. Oh, that one hurts. This is the one that really hurts. Because this is, what is this, Aria of Sorrow? This is a $200 game now, like no question. Like I cannot believe there was a point, and this is actually expensive. Like I remember this was just as I was getting into Castlevania, but I was like, no, I'm gonna try and play it in order. I'm gonna start with the original Castlevania, and I'll work my way up to the Game Boy Advance games. Stupid mistake. I should have bought the Game Boy Advance games when I got into Castlevania, because now I'm gonna be like literally paying for it because I still don't have this, and it's like if you're lucky you find it for $120, like in a beat up version. Like how much? So it's going for $100 here. How much is Harmony of Dissonance? Oh, I'm gonna hate how much Harmony is. Like $60 for Harmony of Dissonance. That's like a $100 game now. Oh, and Circle of the Moon. I just spent like $100 on Circle of the Moon. Oh. Oh, and then there's the. So if you look behind those two Game Boys there, oh, there, the Game Boy Light. There it is. We finally found it. There's a Game Boy Light going for $120. That's even loose. I want to say Game Boy Light's like $200 now. And then we've got behind it, we have just the Nintendo Gun. So if you're not familiar with it, in America it was released as the Zapper. In Japan, for the Famicom, they literally just released what is, it just looks like a six-shooter. It just looks like a gun. Like I would not be comfortable even taking that I would not be comfortable putting that into my bags. I would not be comfortable unpacking that outside anywhere because like the cops are just gonna like shoot you. Like this is not. It is basically just a black six-shooter, and so I would not touch that. Let's see. William Tung saying U.S. copy of Aria of Sorrow CIB sold for 170 in an auction yesterday. Yeah, it's very strange to me that the American and Japanese copies for pretty much every Castlevania game outside of like the Famicom and the Mega Drive versions are about on par with how expensive they are, which is to say very expensive. Yeah, and Andy's saying, wow, over $100 for the Game Boy Light. Like, yeah, I mean, it's also like, even though that's really expensive, you also just don't see them. You don't see them anymore. Can't find them. And then how much is that? Yeah, and then to it, so you've got the Game Boy Light there, and then to the right you have a fully functioning, or it's labeled as Bihim, which is like means it's like it's mint, a mint Game Boy. And it's going for $100, and maybe back in the day that's what it was worth. What does the Japanese on the Game Boy Light say? Oh, I can't tell. It's too faded out. Let's move back in just a little bit. I'll see, but it's, yeah, so I think the screen has some scratches on it. That's what it says in Japanese. And then seeing the Game Boy Light, or sorry, the Game Boy Advance there, complete, it's going for like $60, which is about what it goes for now. Game Boy Advance, the big ones, they're not that expensive, even now. And then seeing it was at, wow, $120 for complete Game Boys. I think they peaked. I don't think they're that expensive anymore. $160 for a good version. Wow. And then here's your sort of common and uncommon Super Famicom games. Cartridges aren't that expensive anymore. Live Alive used to be expensive. But I don't think it's that pricey anymore. That's another one that's on my big shame pile. Live Alive was like a late Square game that was released just before they made the transition to the PlayStation, so it never got a localization. I wonder if it got a fan translation. That might be something to do. And then here, yeah, you just see the massive stacks of Square games. Like, and the thing is, these are actually, I hope I pull the prices on these, but like Bahamut Lagoon is like, it's like a $5 game. Like, you shouldn't spend that much on it. Chrono Trigger's like $5. Like $130 for Contra Spirits. Like, man, even today, that's like an $80 game. Like, you can go to Trader, if you're in Japan, you can go to Trader today and buy it for like $80. Like, I cannot believe Super Potato was trying to get away with $130 3 years ago with that crap. Let's see. Andy is saying, wow, then My from Nagoya was a real steal. No scratches on the display. Yeah, Andy, you got really lucky finding that Game Boy Light for as cheap as you did. And then like this is the other thing that really grinds my gears about Super Potato is that Earthbound for $60, it's like no, you go to like Trader, you go to Hard Off, you find it for like $20. Earthbound has never been a $60 game. Like they've been trying to pull that crap for years. Oh yeah, okay. So I'm this is pretty much over. This is when back when I only had like 10 gigabytes of hard drive space on my phone, as opposed to now where I finally have like 100 gigs on my phone. Um, like that's wild. I cannot believe it. Like they were still doing that. Let's see, Final Fight for $50. Like no way was that ever $50. Like, are you kidding me? Like Mario RPG was like 35. Like what? What? And then Link to the Past $50. No way, no way. Like you could go on Sudogaya now and order it, and it'll be $20. And then yeah, Dracula Double X, which is like the hardest Castlevania game. Like my god. Biometal though, actually $80 for cartridge back then. That was pretty good. A bunch of these are actually not bad. Like 45. How much is Super Turrican for 100? How much is Super Turrican now? I'm curious. Let's see. Super Turrican. Oh, what was it? Is it? I hope I'm spelling that right. Is it Super Turrican? Oh, Tarikan. Oh, is that right? Nope, not that one. There we go. So how much? So a cartridge now on Surugaya is going for wow $100. Yeah, okay. So I guess it's sort of held its price. Although again, this is Super Potato, so this was overpriced back then. This is the price where it is now after having gone up in price. Yeah, Andy's saying $50 for Super Mario World. Yeah, I mean, but it's this is Super Potato prices. Like these are like even on the common stuff, it's expensive. Even today, like the 2017 prices were expensive in 2020. Like yeah, like Rockman, you can find that for like 20. Like Rockman X3 is like $20 even today. Rockman X is like $15 even in Akihabara today. Super Mario World 16, that's not bad. Like Mother 2 is like a $10 game. Metroid's another like $15 game when you buy it loose. I'm really sad I didn't go to the Neo Geo stuff. That's too bad. Maybe I did another video. That could be another stream. Is trying to unearth what Neo Geo prices were back in 2017. But it just again it just wasn't a priority for me back in the day. Andy's saying Turtles in Time for 70. It was at Super Potato back in 2017, but now Turtles in Time is like a $30-$40 game at Trader. It's not that expensive. Looking through some comments here. Have I ever tried to buy games for people and charge a little markup because I would need some of the Japanese games? Clemens, that was like something I had thought of back when I was in Japan. I could never figure out a model how to do it. And by the time I actually lived near a post office was when I was like getting just overworked. So it just wasn't possible. Danny's saying Donkey Kong Country CIB for $30. Yeah, I mean for everyone watching this right now, if you're not familiar with Super Potato's business model, Super Potato basically jacks up the price on the games that it knows foreigners want to buy. It's when you look at Mario, Donkey Kong, Earthbound, and basically all of its rare stuff that it knows that foreign collectors, basically foreign tourists will come in and buy, it just jacks up the price on them. You can easily just walk down the street to another retro game retailer and find games in similar or even better condition for half the price. That was true in 2017. It was true in 2012 when I first started going to Super Potato. It's true today. And then Andy's saying he got the American cartridge. Wait, Andy, you got the American cartridge for $20 for Turtles in Time? I thought it was more expensive here. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me start playing this. Let's take a little break, and then I'm feeling like we can get into the big one. Where is it? Let me find it. Let me find it. Dead air, dead air. All right, so we were just in 2017. Actually, hold on. I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay, we're back. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So any questions before we go into the grand finale? So we just watched the what prices were like at Super Potato in 2017. Now, Super Potato is, if you're just joining us, or if you're not familiar with it, is always going to be overpriced. And I have now learned that where Super Potato, the prices at Super Potato 3 years ago are the prices that you'll pay now for your retro games. So if you're going to Super Potato in 2020, if you're lucky enough to be able to get to Super Potato in 2020, the prices there are the prices that you'll pay at other shops 3 years from now when everything goes up. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Constar is asking, what's your opinion on the Japanese Super Famicom market? Is now a good time to buy Super Famicom games in general, the more common ones? Yeah, I mean, the Super Famicom games have never been terribly expensive. And I would say Super Famicom leveled off a couple years ago. And definitely the rare stuff has absolutely gone down. Like, the common stuff is probably always going to be the price that it is now, so I don't think it's going to make any difference whether you buy it now or a couple years from now. But if you're looking at the rare stuff, I was very surprised that as I was leaving Japan, when I saw stuff at like Mandarake, like I was seeing like Wild Arms for like $200. And as we saw like a couple years ago, that was like a $400 game loose. Like Iron Commando is like $150 now. It used to be $250. Super Turricans really seems to be the only one that's really held its price. Procky and Rocky's about the same price as it's always been. Some of the Star Wars games, like the Super Star Wars games, are about the same price. But yeah, for the, I'd say uncommon and common stuff, yeah, absolutely now's the time. Okay, hold on. Let me start the next video. So this is the grand finale, everyone. So, what we're looking at, we're going to be looking at the showcase of a brand new, brand new to you, everyone, brand new reaction shopping video. Normally I would do this and record it, but we're doing it live today. This is a hard off, and this is what is this? Nagatsuta, which is in Kanagawa Prefecture. It is a walk away from a train station. If you're staying in the Tokyo area, this is actually quite accessible. And if this is the one that I remember I'll need to walk through it to make sure that it's the one that I remember. But if it is, this is probably the best hard off I've been to in a really long time. I filmed this as I was leaving Japan. So this would have been late April, early May 2020. So it'll be funny. It'll be fun to compare the prices at this hard off 3 years after what we saw in Super Potato, seeing if things gone up, if they've gone down. We'll see what happened. But before we start, let me just answer a couple questions. Danny asks, isn't Magical Poppin' still expensive? I don't think it's... Oh, yeah. Well, Magical Poppin'. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the rarest games for the system. So, yeah, it's still... I think complete in box, it's like $1,500. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's still really expensive. But, I mean, that's just all the super rare stuff. Probably the cartridge price has probably gone down on it a little bit. And then Andy's asking, do you know the Parodius games on Super Famicom? I know only one, but I heard Japan has 3 of them. Yeah, there's a couple of them. But I know, the only Parodius game I've ever played was Sexy Parodius for the Saturn. Alright, so here we go. Alright, look at this. We already got something, like, in a real good condition with 2 pads. And is that one that's in the box? So we've got a Turbo Duo. Hopefully, the capacitors have been replaced. I made the mistake of buying a Turbo Duo from a hard off. It was complete in box. It was $150. So I got a good deal on it. What happens when they test these systems is they test it on. They put a CD in, they test it, make sure it works. They play a game for like 3 seconds and then they turn it off. The only problem is that with the Turbo Duo, well, in this case the PC Engine Duo, is that the capacitors, if they're not used for a while, they can actually kind of store up a little bit of capacitance, so it can make it seem like everything's normal. But then after about 10 minutes, it's like, oh, the sound cut out. Why? Oh, because the capacitors on the PC Engine Duo are garbage. And so you can buy something, and then you can take it home, and then it's like, well, oh, actually it's broken. And the window, I think here... This one has a 3-month guarantee, but if you're visiting Japan and then you take it home and it turns out the capacitors are bummed, there's not much you can do about it. I ended up replacing the capacitors on my Duo myself, but it was really, really hard. So be very, very careful when you purchase a Duo at a store. The hard off jingle. Actually, I don't know if you can... Ooh, that'd be interesting. I don't know if you can... Desktop audio. Can I actually get the... I wonder, let me see if I can get the audio on this. That would be really interesting. Capture specific window. Oh, I might... Hold on. Maybe if I'm doing this correctly. Yeah, let's see if I'm going to try and do the... Yeah, Danny's pointing out that the Duo R and RX have better capacitors. I hope I'm not saying... Let's see, I can't remember what audio was with this. Let me see if it actually works. Hold on. This is going to get dicey. Oh, come on. Okay, let's see. Let's check and let me check and make sure this works. Yeah, hold on. Oh. Can you guys hear that? Well, then look at that. Like $150 for a Sega Saturn? Yeah, all right. There's your jingle. I got to be careful with the audio for this because sometimes they play like actual music over this, and that could get us flagged for copyright. So we got to be careful with that. That's about as high as I can get it to go. Wow, look at that a junk Mega Drive. Hold on. Oh, apparently the reset button doesn't work on that Mega Drive. And then, wow, I can't even remember seeing this. The Super Nintendo was going for $80. So William's pointing out the wireless controller. Yeah, that's possible. Because you know what? Actually, around the same time, I actually found at a book off, they had a complete in-box Sega Saturn for $20. Like, they were just like, we just need to get this the F out of here. Like, and then, yeah, because look, there's a V Saturn that's going for like, at the time, that was $80. It's actually not bad. There we go. It's up, yeah, the Model 1 Mega Drive going for $40. There's your white Sega Saturn's going for $40. Oh, that takes me back. $70 for a GameCube? No way. No way. $40 for... Hold on. Why is that GameCube so expensive? Hold on, I gotta look in. Yeah, I can't for the life of me tell you why those two systems are different. Why they're priced differently. Because the one on the left's $40, the one on the right's $60. Yeah, I don't know why they're different prices. And then, oh, the carrying case. Oh, did I get rid of my Super Famicom carrying case? I probably did. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. Like, look at that. So we just witnessed at Super Potato 3 years ago, they were selling AV Famicoms for $180. Just walk over to Hard Off. Well, I mean, take the train out to a Hard Off, buy it for $70. Like really? I should also note that Hard Off includes the price of tax in its prices. And then look at that, $40 for a Famicom, and then complete in-box Super Famicom, like $40. That's so cheap. That's crazy good. And this is Tokyo. This is the greater Tokyo area, and they're like $40-$60. Ooh, Danny's pointing out the GameCube might have been expensive because it had the digital port. That's possible, but that's only if you're, if you can also afford the $200 component cables, right? Yeah, the Xbox One's like super cheap. Like, look at, yeah, it's like, although actually, well, the thing at Super Potato is they'll sell you Super Famicoms for like $40, but they don't have the peripherals with them, so they don't have the controllers. You're just buying the bare console for $40. Go to Super Potato, you buy everything for $40. And then look at that. Oh, the beautiful. I love the fat PS2. That's the one I have real nostalgia for, and it's like $50. That's really good. And then Wii U, yeah, now's the time. We were talking about this before, but now is the time to pick up the GameCube. Or sorry, the Wii U. And then complete in box N64, like the complete with the memory pack. Like, yeah, that's a good deal. Like $60, that's good. Like, this is really one of the more, like, there was a day where I was getting rid of all of my all the stuff I had in my apartment before I was moving. I was getting rid of, like, I had a toaster oven and like hot plate that I needed to get rid of. So I rented a car and I went around with George to, I want to say, like 5 hard-offs in a day. And this one was just like, it had the best prices, it had the best selection. Actually, we went a lot quicker through that. I thought we were going to take a lot more time. So let me bring up, I actually took like 3 different videos in that hard off. I hope I put that in here. I got to bring that up. Bring that here. Let's see, videos. There we go. Those videos. Where are you? Oh, here we go. Okay, there it is. Cutie for you. When it comes to consoles, Jay Contra likes them thick. Definitely for the PS2s. I'm actually pretty keen on the mini PS1. Not that I have anything against the tank PS1, but I just prefer the smaller one. Let's see. Short stuff. Is Surugaya, I think he means, is Surugaya an online store or just a price chart list? Surugaya is an online store, but it has the best selection of any Japanese online store that I found in terms of both common and uncommon games. So I generally use it as like a reference point. I have not found a good, reliable source for Japanese prices aside from, honestly, these videos and other people's videos that they've made. Because there is, like, price charting has some, like, it does track some Super Famicom and Famicom prices. But, I mean, half the time they're, like, fakes anyways. So it's, like, it's nothing reliable, to be honest. So I use Surugaya as a price reference most of the time. I've never actually bought anything from there. Okay, so let's go back to Nagatsuta. Wow, look at that. Already just right off the bat, we've got in their showcase, we've got the red PS2, the most beautiful PS2, which I want to say is, I think it's like $150. It's a beautiful, I wish I could afford that. And then on the bottom left, we've got the PS1, the PS1 that I actually like. And it's got the LCD screen with it. I remember back in the day when I first went to Japan, that was like $50. And it was a mistake not to buy it because now it's $150. How much is it? Like $200 for the red PS2. Oh, man. Should have bought it when it was cheap. I was a fool. And then, like, that's a beautiful Xbox One. Like, I love that red. I mean, I don't like Gears of War that much. Shots fired. I don't like it that much. But it's a beautiful system. And we got $150. And then look at these. Is that a Vita? Oh, wow. A Vita for $50. Can't believe I didn't buy that. I'm a fool. George's going to kill me. Those are some cheap Vitas, by the way. Like, even for the Tokyo area, that's really cheap. And then look at that. Okay, this is interesting. So we've got the Dissidia Final Fantasy PSP. That's going for $150. And then on the bottom left, we've got the Metal Gear PSP. I'm guessing that's the Peace Walker one. That's going for $100. That is, if that was in the box, that'd be cool to get. And then look at the memory cards. So we've got 8 gigabyte PS Vita memory cards going for $8. 16 gigs going for 16, and then the 4 gigabytes going for $5. How big is a Vita game even? And then look at that, the DS or the 3DS. Wow, the Majora's Mask is still going for $150. Oh, and look at that beautiful black and red 2DS, $60. Oh my god. And then look at that bottom left. So that the bottom left, that is the Famicom Color Game Boy Advance SP. That is in the box. That is easily $200 now. And so finding it here, sometimes you find a hard off that doesn't know what they have, and they just price it as a regular SP at like $40. Here they know what they have, but they're still pricing it at $70. That's a good price. Loose, it could probably go for like $120 at like a Super Potato. And then you've got the other Game Boy Advance SPs. Like this, if you want a Game Boy Advance SP, this is where you buy it, because $40, that's really good for like the blue and the sort of the, what is that, tealish? I don't know if that's like, if it's the plastic is wearing. And then you got those purple micros. Like even like I think in box micros go for like $200. Like it's crazy how expensive those can be. Like I was lucky, I bought mine when it was like $50, and I just thought it was cool.
Get your games?
And then look at that.
There was no box.
Really?
Oh yeah, George.
They
George was with me at this
the
one.
Tax and the big price.
No, I was charged the small price, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
really?
got a deal on some Vita games for some reason. Like they
That's good.
How
much did you
mispriced
spend?
it apparently. And
Wow,
then
they got a-
look at the selection. Like this is like that fat Game Boy there. Like we just saw that at the Super Potato in 2017. It was like $120. Now this looks like it might have some small scratches, but looking at the it's not listed as having any problems. And looking at the glare, looks like it's perfectly fine. It's only $60.
A lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
Ah, crap, it's doing that thing again. Sorry, I gotta restart the video feed. What? Yeah, open that with VLC. Oh, there we go. About here. Yep. Like, how much? Hold on. Yeah, I want to. I'm curious to see how much. Oh, it's another Game Boy Light. I thought we never saw those, but it was right here. I'm a fool.
The tax and the big price. Spend.
Let's see. Where is it? Where? Give me the Game Boy Light. Give me the Game Boy Light. $80 for a Game Boy Light? What? That's crazy. Like, you just don't see that shit. Like, that's insane. Like, I'm like, seriously, like, you would find that in Akihabara. Like, that's like $150. I cannot believe I didn't buy this. Oh, I'm such a fool. Oh, I can't believe I didn't buy it. Oh my god. How much is a Game Boy Light now? I gotta look at this up. I gotta see this. I swear to God I saw it for like $200. Yeah, seriously, like, so I'm fine. So I'm all right. I'm looking at it now on Sudagaya. There's one that's complete in box that is, you can buy it now for $210. There is also a gold one that is exactly like this one, but it's got issues and it's going for $75. I thought they were going loose for $200. Maybe that's Akihabara price. Looking at the other ones. Oh, okay, hold on. Here's a wrinkle. So here is one on Sudagaya, the silver one. I didn't know there was a difference between the versions. There is a silver Game Boy Light that is $170. The gold one is apparently... What? But then there's one that's like $60. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's up. Because there's like one on Sudagaya that's like $60. There's one that's going for $60, and there's one that's going for $180. They're both loose. Yeah, I don't know. This one says it has scratches on it. So maybe that's why it's so low. And then we've got a complete... I love that Game Boy Color on the left there. That clear one for $80. And then here we go. Here's some big ones. There's the... Oh, wow. Pocket Color. The Neo Geo Pocket Color going for $50. Wonder Swan Color going for $60. How much is that Wavebird? Like, look at that. Oh, my God. Like, yeah, I remember my mind was blown because for the longest time, I thought the Hori pads for the N64, I thought they were like $100. But, like, seeing that for, like, $40... Like, that's insane. Like, $40 for a Hori pad is, like, really good. How much are they on eBay now? Hori pad N64. Yeah, they're like $80. Like, $80, $90 on eBay. And that's when you're shipping it from Japan. So, if you could get to Japan, you could easily... And I saw bunches of these. They had loads of these. Not just at this hard off, but a bunch of the different hard offs that I went to in the Tokyo area. And then I can't believe the Wavebird is like $70. I'm so glad I have mine. Oh, that looks like a metallic-y Wavebird. I have like a basic like gray Wavebird in America. That's like I can't find these in Japan. Like, this is the only one I'd seen for like a long time because I'd always wanted to buy a Japanese Wavebird.
Wow.
All right, so moving along.
7? Wow.
And then I look at that pink, the pink VMU. That's so cool. And then the Wonder Swan crystals, like $100 complete. I remember buying mine for like 10, like super cheap up in Hokkaido. Yeah, all right. So there's the portable showcase. Let's see. Baldell asks, what is the going rate of S video cables for SNES, N64, GameCube? You could probably find it at hard off for like $10, probably cheaper. I mean, for S video, you might as well like. I can't imagine there being a difference in quality between a third-party S video cable and the official ones. The official ones are like $5 if you can find them in the junk. Like they're pretty cheap. Okay, so last thing we're gonna look at is the final bit. Hold on. Here we go. So this was at like of all the hard offs that I went to, in the greater Tokyo area, this was like absolutely the biggest selection, cheapest prices. This was the best one I'd ever went to. Like look at that. Oh yeah, what is that? Pokemon XD? Like going for $30? Like isn't that like crazy expensive for the US version? Yeah, Paul. Spend the $1,000 to go buy the S video cable. Save some money on the shipping costs for the Hori pad as well. Anything remarkable here? Yeah, it's wild to me. Like, look at these different prices on the GoldenEye. Like, I guess the one on the right, it looks like a little bit, the label's a bit scuffed up. Like, maybe that's why it's cheaper. GoldenEye used to be really expensive, but now it actually, like, a lot of N64 games, like, just aren't expensive anymore. Like, the super rare ones are. Yeah, what else have we got here? A lot of this stuff I just don't recognize, so I can't comment on it if it's a good price or not. Like this showcase is absolutely phenomenal. Like Burning Ranges for $30. Like even like with the Obi there, like that's a good price. And like Giga Wing, like I probably should have bought this copy of Giga Wing. Like $40 for Giga Wing is really good. And then they had like, what is that? Is that Metal Black? Like for $40? Like that's like, yeah, like in Akihabara, like it's like a $60 game. Yeah, there was another one. Another hard off I went to had like loads of PC Engine games that I ended up buying. It's crazy to me that you can still go to hard offs, like Spriggan Mark II. I mean, $50. You could probably find it for cheaper at Friends, but like not much cheaper. Ooh, Bloody Wolf. Oh man, I should have got that. That would have been great. And then, like, I'm just absolutely blown away by the variety of games that this one hard off had. Because usually you don't see. Is that Battle Angel Alita? $50 with the Obi? Maltese is asking, hey, when are you gonna start playing some retro games on YouTube? Unfortunately, I think I sent back I've got my capture card with me, but I sent. Oh, there's Empress. That's like with one of the most expensive PS2 games. Wait, how much is that? Is that $80? I want to say you could at Mandarake. It's easily like 150. It's really. Oh, and there's Espagluda going for 50. I will be streaming eventually. Unfortunately, my S video capture is in America, so I can only stream stuff with HDMI. But I do have a bunch of like classic collections I might stream one of these days. Maybe on another Sunday when I can. Oh, Densha to Go. That's, I had set a budget for myself when I was leaving Japan. I didn't want to spend too much when I was leaving. And unfortunately, the Densha to Go games just did not make the cut. Emulation, that's a possibility. I just don't have the controllers with me. I guess I could use my PS4 controller. Yeah, it's, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out. But honestly, because all of the backups of games that I certainly own, I don't know where to find those anymore. Because I think a lot of the big sites got taken down. Not that I would ever go there, or, if you were to download places, I don't know where those are anymore. What else is here? Yeah, you know, Andy's talking about Densha to Go coming out on Switch, and I'm just skipping over a lot of these games just because I don't know. I don't know half these games. So if you know these games and you love them, please let me know in the chat so I can look them up. But yeah, I cannot I think there is one train simulator on the Switch right now, and I think it's like it used to be a 3DS game, I want to say. Oh, there's the Salamander. I love the copy of the Famicom Salamander. Axlay's fun. Oh, and then there's Raiden Densets. Wow. We've got so yeah, look at those. Yeah, look at how cheap the Rockman X3. Rockman X3 is going for like 25 bucks. You've got Rockman at Forte for like 15 bucks. It was twice as expensive. Literally twice as expensive 3 years ago at Super Potato. Oh, and then Jerry Boy. And then, wow, oh my god, Super Empire Strikes Back for 30 bucks? Oh, man. Oh, Thunder Spirits. I hope I bought Thunder Spirits. I had to ship a bunch of stuff to America. I wasn't able to bring it with me. I hope I got Thunder Spirits. That's insane. I got here. And then look, like, Super Mario Brothers for, like, that's literally, you would go to Akihabara, you would go to Mandarake, and you would find their copy of Super Mario Brothers. It would be like $50. Or you could just go to this hard off and buy it for 15. Like I don't want to badmouth Super Potato too much, but just like it's right here in front of your face, just how cheap hard off is. Like, yeah, Super Mario USA for like 15 bucks. Like, that's good. Normally it's like 20, even at other hard offs. Like, I need to say, like, other hard offs can be more expensive. This just happens to be a really cheap hard off. Like, this hard off was so cheap that I actually bought a copy of Final Fantasy V from this hard off. No, it was Final Fantasy IV I bought. And then guess what was also inside it? A copy of Final Fantasy 1 and 2 for Game Boy Advance that I basically just got for free because for some reason, like, I guess when they checked it, it was like, okay, here's an extra game in here. We're just going to keep it in here and give it to whoever buys this for free. It's like $20 value. Wrecking Crew, I still don't understand what Wrecking Crew's $30. Like, I mean, I guess it's old. That makes sense. Yeah, Danny says good price on Rockman and Forte. I don't know what the regular price. Like Fire Emblem, $20. Completed box for Fire Emblem. DuckTales, $20. No manual on it though. Wow, both copies no manual. That's weird. Hudson Collection. Okay, that's not the super. There's a really expensive Hudson Collection. Like, look at that. So we just saw. This is very within the same stream. So earlier at Kex in the UK. They had a leaf green loose for, what was it, like $40, $45? In Japan, you can buy a leaf green complete for $30. Like it's still, like just no comment on that. Besides how incredible it is. We got Makai Muda for 30 bucks. Like, man, yeah, you know, if I had, like, look at that. Oh, it doesn't have the manual, though. So Mother 3 for 40. Would be good if it had the manual. Okay, alright, yeah, pulling out, showing you the rest. See, that's just the showcase. Look at all the other, just like the common and the uncommon games that they have. They've just got so much stuff at this hard off. Like when I go back to Japan, I'll be in the Tokyo area for a while, and like I'm absolutely gonna go to this hard off, and I'm just gonna like clean off. I'm just gonna vacuum up everything off the shelves. Basically, whatever I can fit into my suitcase, I'm picking up because like all of that is super cheap. And I looking to 2020. So Topher saying the family and I are going to Tokyo in March, and he must go to places for picking up GameCube and Dreamcast games. Trader in Akihabara, and hard offs, because that's really where you're gonna find the super cheap stuff. Right now, Japanese games are still cheap. If you are in Japan, or you are able to buy games online through like Bai or Surugaya or Mandarake, the games are still cheap. I will predict that we will see a big uptick the second when Japan opens its borders and people are able to go back into the country. I will bet you anything that the prices are going to shoot way up because people are going to have that pent up, depending upon their economic status, because of, obviously we're on the precipice of an economic apocalypse. But people who still have their jobs are going to go into Japan when they can on vacation, and they're going to start vacuuming up all the games that are still left there. I don't know how much of an uptick there's going to be. I don't even know if it's going to happen, but I suspect that within the next 6 to 8 months, especially probably during the Olympics, if the Olympics actually happen, I will bet you anything that we've seen the bubble in the U.S. and Europe. We've seen a pretty much across the board, like a 20% increase in prices, and I will bet you anything it's going to be like 40% increase on the price of Japanese games. eBay prices will probably also have to go up in response. That's just my guess on what's going to happen. Like Danny's saying, like, in other words, buy now. I mean, yeah, if you can afford it, if you still got a job, you still got a stable income, like, yeah, I would buy what you want now within the next 3 to 4 months. Because when next year hits, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think everything's going to like shoot up in price because you'll finally have that return of demand of people actually visiting Japan and buying these things. Because you would think the demand would even be higher now because, like, it's not just tourists coming into Japan and picking up these things. A lot of the stock gets siphoned off from people reselling on eBay, but also there are huge businesses that churn stuff. That I'm not talking about some guy like what I would have done, which is just me personally going into these hard-offs and just picking up stuff and listing it on eBay. There are mega corporations that, like, there are not even just small businesses. I know there are, like, I've read blogs about guys who they like own stores in America. They will go to Japan. They will buy shipping containers worth of Super Famicom consoles and games. They will load up a shipping container and they'll ship it back to America for their store. There are mega corporations where their business model is sucking up games from the countryside and from cities and then just listing it on eBay and shipping it out abroad. But when you look at the prices, like as I was there in Japan, and even when you look at Surugaya now, which I think is the best barometer that we have of the common and uncommon games in Japan, the prices are still roughly the same as, 6 months ago, as a year ago, honestly. Where it's going to be in 6 months, who knows? I want to complete a Dreamcast and GameCube collection, and there's not a lot of domestic demand for those consoles, but there is a lot of foreign demand for those consoles. So who knows what's going to happen with that? That's my overall prediction. Looking at what's this been, I will have to restate that Super Potato. Looking at the general increase of prices across the board, which is just inevitable in collecting, Super Potato its prices are what prices will be 3 years from now. So that's what I've learned from doing this. Let's see, Maltese is saying some games have also come down. Definitely noticed that. I've definitely noticed prices go down on cartridges and common and uncommon games for like Famicom, Super Famicom, and I bet that'll happen for every other system. The super rare stuff has held in value. If you look at like Rekka, the super expensive shooter for the Famicom, it's kind of just stayed where it's at. It's not gone up in price. Saturn games have gone up in price a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, I'd say most games will go down in price in the future. Andy is saying exactly what I'm thinking, which is like, you go to Akihabara to see what you want. And if it's something super rare, then maybe you're best off buying it there. But yeah, just stick to hard offs outside of the city. If you can rent a car, that's what I'm gonna do when I go back to Japan. I'm just gonna rent a car, and you can hit like, especially in the Tokyo area, you can hit like 6 hard offs like in an afternoon easy. And like I remember the car I was driving, it was just like a basic K car. I paid like $5 in gas. Like in gas in Japan is pretty expensive. I think I paid like $40 to rent the car, and then I paid $5 in gas at the end of the day because it was like a hybrid, weird fuel efficient car. But yeah, Danny's saying, yeah, Super Famicom cartridges have gone down in price. I absolutely, probably when I go back to Japan, it'll be Super Famicom cartridges and then complete Dreamcast and GameCube games. Yeah, so all right, my brain's fried after going through three through three different reactions. What have we got coming up? Hold on. Let me see. Can I do this? Let me see if I can. I wonder if I can put this in the chat. So if you have not already, I have a survey up. If you haven't seen it, I am trying to get, now that I'm at 6,000 subscribers, or hopefully still at 6,000 subscribers, because sometimes it goes up and down. I'm gonna try and paste this. Does Sudagai ascend to the EU? I don't know. Last I checked, it does not. But they like add stuff all the time, probably. So maybe one day they will. So if everyone could please fill out the J Contra 6K survey, that'd be a real help. Help decide the future of the channel. I want to know what you guys want to see on the channel. What systems, what kind of videos, what I'd like to start doing some streaming, some actual like video game streaming. I can stream from Switch and PS2. We'll see if I can maybe stream some other things for games that I absolutely own and definitely have and possess. That's another possibility. Yeah, I could probably do that from a main computer. So yeah, I'll figure that out. But yeah, it's just a quick like 5 or 6 questions. Also on that, I want to do a Q&A. Probably film it within the next week. So you can also write your question down there, or you can leave it in a comment on the channel. You can put it wherever you want, and I'll try and answer it in an upcoming Q&A. That'll probably come out in 2 weeks. Otherwise, right now I've got shopping videos coming out every week on Fridays. And then whenever something happens, whenever I have an idea, I'll have a video, like a vlog, coming out on Wednesday. If I do streams in the future, they'll probably be like at the same time. They'll probably be my time. It's Sunday night. That'll be like America time. It'll be like 2 p.m. East Coast time. Like that'll be 11 o'clock Pacific. That'll be like 6 p.m. GMT. So that'll be like 7 or 8 o'clock in Europe. I'm not gonna promise anything with that yet, just because haven't gotten into a rhythm with it yet. But I definitely want to, and probably, especially once I'm in America, I'll be able to stream a lot more regularly, if that's possible. Otherwise, I've got tons of footage of shops that I captured in Japan before I left. So that stream is just going to be coming out for like, I can do videos for that for like literally like another year and a half at least. Plus all of the online shopping videos. Keep on doing that because I love doing that, because I love seeing what the prices are for games that I'm not familiar with, seeing the most expensive games. I've also, thank you very much, Maltese Dog, TV Dog channel, for filling that in. Really helpful. I think we've got like 30 responses so far, and we've got some really good questions and really good feedback on what people think about the channel. Otherwise, let me think. What are the big things that are happening? I've got some other ideas in the pot, especially now because basically it's not only is it impossible for me to get a job here in the UK because of my visa status. I'm just here as a tourist for right now. But when I go back to America, I probably won't be able to like have a traditional job anyways, because I'll only be there for like a couple months before coming back here, hopefully. So I've got some ideas with what I might want to do with the channel. I'm not. Yeah, Danny, I bought a bunch of PC Engine games. I actually do have a PC Engine Dual R with me here. Unfortunately, I just don't have a way to capture it right now, unless we do it in a way, unless I can do some emulation. But I'm still working on that. I can't make any promises with that yet. I still have to figure that out. Otherwise, I think I'm just rambling now. So again, please fill out the survey. I just dropped the link in chat. I've got, yeah, I'm probably going to film that in the next couple days, that Q&A. Wicked asks, am I looking forward to the PS5? Not really. I mean, yeah, like the PS5 will be great, I'm sure. But what I've sort of committed myself to doing is, I'm trying not to buy games for like the next probably year and a half. Like probably maybe even, unless I go to Japan in 2021, which is possible. Otherwise, I'm trying not to buy games because I just have so many. Like, I spent the last 3 months just clearing through my Switch backlog because I bought a bunch of games before I left Japan, and I've just been sitting around. I've been playing Bloodstained, which is for one really good, but also the Switch version really is disappointing because of the frame rate issues. And I don't mean like oh it's 30 frames per second. I mean like actually like during the boss it like just freezes and stutters and is almost unplayable sometimes. But otherwise, like especially when I go back to America, I just have so many games that I have to play that like I can't even think about like buying a PS5 for like the next like 3 years. Yeah, Topher's saying I can't imagine what your backlog of games looks like. Yeah, because basically what would happen was I would buy these games in Japan and I would haul them back with me to America, or I would ship them to America like I did when I was moving, and I haven't been able to touch just so many. So I'm like right now I'm just going system by system. I've got my Switch and my PS4 with me, so I'm just going through all of my Switch games, playing them. I don't need to finish them. I just need to play them enough to be satisfied. Like, what was I playing the other day? Oh man, I was playing through. No, I played the Capcom collection. I like cleared all of those. But like some of like the shooters, like I've got the Psycho collection. I've got the two of them. Like I was playing like Sengoku Ace. Like some of these are just like really hard. Like Strikers 1999 is just really hard. And unless you like do the settings so where you have like infinite lives, like there's just no way I'm ever gonna clear that. PS5 announced Signy All Guns Blazing. That's the thing, is that's another thing that I'd really like to do when I go back to Japan is there's a lot of like I don't want to say B tier, but I mean like non-huge shooters like Gundamonius. There's like there's one shooting game that came out. There's a bunch of like sort of low-key PS4 shooters out there. Like I've been able to buy a few. Like there was like, what was it, like the Five Princesses? There's that too. There's a bunch of PS4 shooters out there, like the Darius set. There's Ketsui, also for the PS4. Like there's just so much stuff, and then I have this weird hankering to replay Metal Gear Solid 5 because I was like, yeah, that was probably the best open world game I ever played. Might as well play it again. And then visit some arcade stores. Yeah, Maltese brings up another thing, which is I think if I had stayed in Japan, I was this close to buying an MVS board and consoleizing it. The great thing about Tokyo is you can buy Neo Geo MVS games like really cheap. Cheap compared to the AES versions, and I was so close to doing that. And so, if I was ever in like Japan again for more than like a month, I would probably get into the MVS because like the AES, like I would love to collect for the AES, but I would also like to I would also like to be able to like save for my kids' college fund, and so that kind of puts the Neo Geo AES on the back burner right now. But the MVS is still, I think, very collectible. My only issue with the MVS is that some of the cartridges are EEPROMs, Like, you think like Puzzle Bobble, like I know the Japanese one, I think it's like an EEPROM. Like, I have no problem with the MVS stuff if it's like flash ROMs, because that'll last forever. But if it's an EEPROM, like you're playing with fire there. Like, that's a ticking time bomb to the point where it's just gonna like I can solder stuff. I cannot desolder a chip and reflash it. I'm not, my technical skills aren't at that level, and maybe they never will be. Uh, so that's, and then right now, the PS5, like, what do I even have for the PS5 that I gotta play? Like, I bought Ground Zeroes. Like, I never played Ground Zeroes before, actually. I know it's like 2 hours, so I can clear it easy. Oh yeah, you know, I played through near Automata. I like to call it Automata. I played through it. I got the first ending, and then I was just like, to get the second ending, it's like you have to do all the same stuff. And I know after you get the second ending, it's like a whole new game after that. But it's like, do I have to play through the whole game again just to get to the whole new game? Like, it was, I'm just like, nah, playing it through once was fine. I don't need to play it again. Megalong69, hey, welcome back. Hardest shmup to find on PS4, Griffin Knight Epic. Is that, I'm really right now, I'm only trying to focus on Japanese stuff. Because there is some foreign stuff, like, I really want to play Hollow Knight. I want to play, there's actually, limited, the one exception I may make this year is getting the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. Just because, there's no Japanese version announced, and I think the American version, or like the North American version, has the Japanese versions on it, so you can play the obviously superior Castlevania 3, which has the better soundtrack. Let's see, Danny1 is saying, beware of reproductions of Neo Geo games. I heard they are coming into Japan because stores buy in bulk and don't notice and look authentic. You know, someone got really pissed at me when I said on one of my videos that I would really hesitate to buy very expensive Japanese games because some of the stores, I don't have any proof of it. I just have a feeling that, and especially, well, not just a feeling, but I have stories. I don't have any personal evidence. But I have been told by some people on the internet, so which is of course 100 true always, that basically a bunch of stores, there's probably some, like Mandarake probably does his due diligence. Super Potato maybe, Trader maybe. I know at Trader, I have traded in some games to Trader. I traded in some of George's games to Trader when we were moving. And they have an area, they have this back area where I guess they take a look at the game. They probably take, because you have to realize that so many of these shops make their money on volume that they're just taking the stuff in. They're looking at it. They put it in the console, turn it on, make sure it works. And they're putting it on the shelf. I would hope that for stuff like Neo Geo and for like super expensive, like when you're talking like honestly anything over $100, they're either opening the cartridge up or they've got someone who can, you know, eyeball it. But a lot of, like, I got such flack for saying that, like, be very careful for doing this in Japanese game shops, because they were like, no, of course they have people who know they're experts in their field who are looking at these games. And I was like, you know, maybe Mandarake, just because Mandarake is legendary for the used stuff that it's playing, or the stuff that it's selling, that it would maybe have someone on staff that it could afford to pay who could identify these games. But like at a place like Hardoff, no way. Like, it's getting looked at by some clerk who's making minimum wage, who is just being told to move this stuff as fast as possible. And that's probably true of a bunch of game shops in Akihabara, especially the newer ones. Like, it's possible that they have someone on staff who's not knowledgeable about this stuff. But there are just so many systems with so many different kinds of cartridges and printing and boxes that I don't know if I would ever trust just one singular person at being able to identify all of this stuff. Like, I wouldn't trust myself. Like, half the time, like, I have to look on, like, and sometimes the information just isn't available on this stuff. Like Rendering Ranger R2, like, you can go on eBay right now for, like, Rekka. Video game. Yeah, he says experts like experts at GameStop dealing in retro. I don't think it's that bad. Like especially if you're in Akihabara, if you're in Akihabara and you're like going into like Mandarake or Trader, um, like they probably have someone who the Neo Geo is a really interesting example because I will bet you anything like Mandarake has someone who knows Neo Geo games just because they are so expensive and and if someone was on the internet going like, "Oh, Mandarake sold me a fake Puzzle Bobble," or "Mandarake sold me a fake Samurai Spirits Ray," like that would be a huge dent to reputation, and like reputation is everything. Like it's not that's true in America. I think it's doubly true in Japan for a lot of these retro games. And then like yeah, and then Danny says exactly like Neo Geo and Mega Drive games. Like I was this close to buying Vampire Killer, Castlevania Bloodlines, the Japanese version. It was like $450 at Friends. It was the cheapest I'd ever seen it, and I was like, oh, it's like I worked so much overtime that month that I was like, oh boy, I could afford this. I could really buy it if I wanted to. But there was on the one hand where it's like I'm not spending $450 on a single video game, but also I was like, I mean the I know Friends is so cool. I love Friends. I will never say a bad word about Friends. And I just don't know if a small shop like that has the expertise and the knowledge to identify a fake Mega Drive game. Because and the thing is like you go onto eBay now and you look at copies of Vampire Killer on there, half of them are fake. And I know it's a lot of it is because I mean a lot of it's just because people don't know. They like it like only like 2% of people are gonna know to go onto like AliExpress and to like see what a fake they'll just go on and see what a fake Mega Drive game looked like. There was a Twitter account a while ago. I don't think it's active anymore. That it used to post how to identify really expensive, very rare Japanese games like Rekka, Vampire Killer, games like that. Unfortunately, I don't think it posts anymore. So a lot of this information is just getting lost into the ether. Like I don't like who's gonna know? Like who's gonna have the Japanese ability to even know that to identify a fake Rekka? Like there are some really good fake Summer Carnival '92 Rekkas out there to the point where the only identifying thing is like a little white space in between a couple of the katakana characters. Like who's gonna know that? Like and especially on eBay, like God help you if you're buying expensive Japanese games on eBay, just because there is like I try to share what knowledge I can, but like I don't know half the stuff. I don't know 99% of the stuff. I can't expect even like just a regular buyer to know that stuff. Um, let's see. Video games asking if you spoke Japanese and asked nicely, would they let you open the cart-based games in the store? I take my tools with me if I'm intending to buy expensive stuff. Um, that is an interesting. I would bet you anything if you're at like a Mandarake, they probably have the tools there, and you could probably ask, and they'll probably show you. I've never done that, but that would be, maybe next time just for kicks, I might do that just to be like, if I'm buying anything expensive, like honestly, anything over like, if I'm buying a cart that's over like 50 or $100, yeah, like I probably, even back when I could afford to do that, I probably should have done that. I think everything I have is legit. I'm a hope, but I probably should have done that. Um, if you're at a hard off, if you have your tools with you, I mean, they let you like at a hard off. They'll open the box for you and they'll show you like the condition of the manual and the cartridge. That's a next step, opening the cartridge itself to where I would guess yes, but I've never heard anyone ever do that. But that's probably what should be happening. Let's see. Let's see. Yamakawa Ban is saying, or is saying, Friends had the best price I've ever seen on. Let's see on. Sorry, that game. Suit What? Sorry. 100. Let's see, 1200. I don't know that game. I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Let's see. Danny's saying, I don't doubt these shops are diligent, but some slip through the cracks. Like, yeah, that's the thing is, the shop just has to be wrong once for something to slip through the crack and for someone to buy it, and then like their reputation is ruined. Um, and especially like if you were Japanese or if you were living in Japan, it'd be fine because you just take it back and they would refund you, I'm sure, no questions. But if you're a tourist and you're just there for like a week and you buy something expensive and you go back home and it's fake, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like mail it back? Like maybe, but how are they gonna get the money to you? It's just not gonna happen. Um, let's see. Mulan didn't allow you to open the box. That's interesting. Well, I don't see why they wouldn't. Like maybe it's because maybe if you open it like you could static shock the board and it could blow up, but you would like honestly I would not that I would be not that I would distrust or mistrust a shop that didn't let me open it, but I would really question a shop that didn't have someone that at least had the expertise to open a cartridge. Like it's not that difficult to have some gloves or something, or and have someone that knows how to open a cartridge. Like for stuff like Mega Drive and Famicom, it can be difficult because you've got like the plastic tabs and it's not that easy. But for like Super Famicom, N64, Neo Geo, does Neo Geo have screws, or is that another thing where you got to like, you know, sort of jimmy it open? Let's see. But Mulan, I've never actually bought anything from Mulan. I don't think I've actually been in Mulan, now that I think about it. Let's see. William's saying at Den Den Town in Osaka, a store named A2 would show me the contents inside the games before selling them to me. Yeah, it's, every shop. I'm pretty sure every shop in Japan will let you, they will do it themselves, or they will let you just open the box and check out the manual, check out the cartridge, make sure everything's there. That's no problem. I would wonder if these places would actually open up the cartridge itself. Like obviously CDs, obviously CDs are going to be much harder to copy just because like the lasering, like, or whatever, the label is going to be like, although, that's the other thing is like, that's what scares me. Like that's what really scares me is buying like expensive PC Engine games, because you can go online and there's like, almost one-to-one copies of Sapphire out there that are like almost indistinguishable. And so like when you go to like a Mandarake and you see a copy of Sapphire that's like $800, you're like, oh boy, like I don't know. Let's see. Wicket's asking, is it easy to make a Famicom work in England, as I have a trip to Japan in October, maybe, and wanted to buy one and loads of games. Any tips? Wicket, well, I hope you can go to Japan in October, man. Like, at this rate, I don't even know. Like, I know the UK's been doing okay relatively okay compared to America, in the current health crisis, but it's going to be rough. Like, I don't know if Japan's going to lift its like entry ban on foreigners for a while. If you can. So the issue that I faced, I've been looking for CRTs to play like my PC Engine on, and I know a lot of newer CRTs, like stuff that's I think made after like in the 2000s, have both NTSC and PAL modes, so you can play your Japanese Famicom on a CRT. You also probably won't have a problem playing it on HD TVs as long as it's got the component input or the composite input. Like I've got the HD TV that I'm looking at now for my monitor. I can play my PC Engine on it no problem. Obviously it's an HD TV, so you're not going to get a great screen quality on it. But the issue that I think you're going to have is just the power supply. There's a guy in France who makes he gets a hold of like new power supplies for old systems that are like multi-voltage. So like I bought a PC Engine Dual R power adapter because I cannot find a transformer in this country that does, what is it, like the 220 or 230 hertz or 230 volts down to 100. Because in the UK, it's like double the voltage. So if you put your Famicom and you plug that into the wall, even with a socket adapter, you're gonna like blow a fuse or something. It's not gonna be good. But if you go to this guy, or you can probably find a replacement somewhere else, maybe even on Amazon, you just got to find the right power adapter for that. And that's also true of even if you're doing Japan to America, it's 110 in America, but 100 volts in Japan. So you just got to make sure you got the right power adapter for that. Let's see. Wow, a lot of questions. Let's see. Let's see if Fazarez is saying not Radiant Silver Gun. But Judgment Silver Sword. Radiant Silver Gun, that's one that I've always wanted. Radiant Silver Gun. I had a hard time justifying spending $200 on a disc-based game with a disc rot that's possible. But also, it seems to have held its price. For some reason, you think Radiant Silver Gun, as well known and as like popular as it is, it's always been around like $200. I think it's got a little bit up in price recently, like it might be $210. Let's see, and then let's see. Yamakawa Jun is saying you should check out Sute Hakkun, best puzzle game on Famicom. No, puzzle games hurt my brain. I can't do puzzle games. The most puzzle game I could do was, what was it? Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was the most puzzle game I could ever handle. And then Danny's saying, I saw on Twitter this week that multiple people's PSPs in Japan's batteries were melted if left inside. Yeah, that's actually a big thing. If you have a PSP, here's my warning to everyone watching this stream right now. If you have a PSP, you got to take out the battery. If you haven't replaced it, take out the original battery. That is a ticking time bomb. And I mean that literally, because it will expand, and at a certain point it will explode. Like that is what's happening. Like I'm pretty sure, oh god, I really hope I took that out of my PSP. Like if I haven't done it already, and I must have before I shipped it to America, but I'm going to double. The first thing I do when I go back to America, to my parents' house, is I'm checking my PSP, and I'm taking out the battery, because not only will your PSP blow up. It's not going to blow up. It's not going to like explode. But I would not want to have flammable material around it. That's all I'm going to say. Andy's saying the puzzle battles in Origami King drive me crazy. That's God. I really, really want to play Origami King because I freaking love Paper Mario. It's part of the whole thing of not buying games for a while. But also I kind of want, this is a sort of weird thing that's happened to me. As I left Japan, that I've always prized having the Japanese version of a game, but now that we live in an era of simultaneous releases, that is there really any point to buying the Japanese version of a game when you could just buy, say, the British version of a game and you could just play it in Japanese? Because I want to play, obviously I still want to play the Japanese games in Japanese. But I kind of really still want the Japanese version, even though it's identical to the British version. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll convince George to buy it and I'll just play her copy. That's probably what I'm going to do with Animal Crossing anyways. Jamie Aitken, sorry if I'm mispronouncing names here, is asking, got any recommendations for PSP battery replacements, specific brands? The only replacement battery I've ever done is for my Game Boy Advance SP, and it's just something I found on Amazon. I don't know anything about PSP battery replacements. I played my PSP. I played the Metal Slug collection on it, and then I put it away because there's is it Rondo of Blood, or is it it's a Symphony of Night? Yeah, it's Symphony of the Night remake. Is the one game that I have for the PSP that I really want to play. I also want to see what the original Peace Walker was like. That's the other one that I want to play for the PSP. I don't think there's any game for the PSP that I like really, really want now that I think about it. Aside, so PSP, Game Boy Advance. I've got a lot of Game Boy Advance games. I spent a lot of money on Game Boy Advance games in Japan, and I've played like two of them. When I came to the UK, I actually had to wait like I had to wait like a month to get internet because the place we moved into, it was not wired for like fiber. So to instead of just going with like DSL or whatever, we George and I, we waited. We went through this whole situation where they like the internet service provider was fighting with the actual internet company to set everything up, and also because of the times we live in, everything was crazy, and people were saying like, no, it's this person's fault for not installing it. No, it's this person's fault for not installing it. So I had like a month straight where I did not have internet. I had internet on my phone, but I wanted to save money, so only like 2 GB, and that went up fast. So I played through all of Final Fantasy IV in like a week. And first of all, Final Fantasy IV is just like, it's absolutely incredible. If you've not played Final Fantasy IV, I would absolutely recommend the Game Boy Advance version, if not the Super Nintendo version. I wouldn't recommend the 3D versions just because I don't like it when Square does 3D remakes of their games. Final Fantasy VII notwithstanding, but the Final Fantasy IV was just like it's just the definitive to me, like 2D Final Fantasy. Like it has just got everything going for it. The story is incredible. The fights are great. The music's awesome. I really, really loved playing it, and it reminded me that I have all of these Game Boy Advance games. Like I have this box that I keep on me of all my like sort of expensive / games that I really want to play. In there, I have like all 3 of the Fire Emblem games that came out for the Game Boy Advance. I've got like Metroid, Zero Mission, Metroid, the remake of Metroid. Was it Metroid 1 or Metroid 2? It's like, yeah, it's one of those. Both of the Metroids that came out for Game Boy Advance. I've got like Steel Empire, like an amazing shooter. I've got so many games for the Game Boy Advance I gotta play that I just haven't gotten around to yet. Let's see. Wicked Wicked's asking, what is your favorite retro console and game? That's tough. You know, if you had asked me when I was younger, or when I first went to Japan, I would have told you the N64. I was like, yeah, the N64. I came to Japan and I was like, I'm gonna complete an N64 set, and then I did. And I hated it. I hate the N64. I just can't. I'm spitting hot fire here. But look, there are N64 games that I absolutely love. Perfect Dark is a phenomenal game. It is my favorite first-person shooter. GoldenEye's great. Of course, there's the platformers that everyone knows. I think right now I would probably say the Super Famicom. I would probably say the Super Nintendo, just because it has such a wide breadth of games that are just so beautiful. The music's great. That are really just genre defining. The one I really want to play the most right now is GameCube, because I think that's where my nostalgia has moved to. It's sort of gone past the N64 and it's gone into the GameCube. My favorite game of all time, though, is, speaking of the N64, is Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. There is no better game. I will not hear about it. Majora's Mask is absolutely fantastic. It's just got everything. I've loved Majora's Mask since the day that it came out, since the day that I bought it in 2000. It has been my favorite game ever since, and it just has not changed in the last 20 years. Oh God. 20 years since Majora's Mask came out. Jesus. Wicked. Yeah. Yeah. So I have run out of things that I can talk about right now, because we've been going for 3 hours. Finally, after we got the stream set up, we've been going for 3 hours now. This has been absolutely fantastic. This worked out. Initial troubles aside, this ended up working out really well. Got a good audience, so I think, yeah, Gonna try. I won't promise it, but I want to next week stream something. It'll probably be a Capcom beat 'em up. Maybe we'll test out streaming a game that I completely, absolutely own, definitely. That I may find at a website that I would not recommend anyone go to. Absolutely not. We'll test that out. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here because I'm fading. It's 10 o'clock here, so I'm gonna get out of here. Once again, let me just before I go. Thank you to everyone who's already filled it out. But I've just dropped the link in the chat to please fill out the J Contra 6K subscriber survey. Help decide the future of the channel. Tell me what you like about the channel, what videos you want to see, what systems you want to see. It's like 6 questions. Also on there is, if you want to, you don't have to, you can enter in a question for the upcoming 6K Q&A. That'll be in a couple of weeks. So please fill it out if you haven't already. Otherwise, upcoming channel notes. What have we got going on? Today's Sunday. Wednesday, I've got a vlog coming out where I talk about retro game prices. As always, on Friday, every Friday, there will be another video game shopping video. I can't remember. It might be GameCube. It might be something else. I forgot what I have scheduled for this Friday. But regularly scheduled video on Friday and a vlog on Wednesday. Apart from that, this has been the 3-hour, the longest ever stream I've ever done, longest ever video I've ever made. Thanks everyone for coming into the chat. Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for watching. I have been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, saying thanks for watching. See you next time, and